Hey everybody! It is Saturday not. It is Sunday, actually. And this is going to be our discussion on Soma. Hope you guys are excited. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. And I'll be bringing in the first Skype group right away, actually. Pretty excited about it. Should be a ton of fun. Okay, good. Looks like you guys can hear me. So we're gonna jump right in. I'm gonna introduce our first group. The first panel, as it were. And, yeah, so this is Soma group number 4. Round of applause for Soma group number 4. Yay, everyone. Cool.
Yay!
Yay!
So, I thought I would give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves. Maybe say what your name is, where you're from. And I'll call you in the order that I see you in the Skype call. So, Angel, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I go by Angel. I'm from the Midwest, the United States. I've been watching your channel for a while now, so I was so excited to see Soma on.
Oh, cool. Yeah, have you played it yourself?
I have not played it myself. Unfortunately, those horror games, A, don't work, B, terrify the crap out of me.
Yeah, I agree with you on the second point for sure.
So.
For sure. Very cool. Psychopath, great name. Maybe I should call you Callum.
Callum will be fine.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Callum. I'm from the United Kingdom. And I'd just like to thank you first for doing this, because I didn't expect it, to be honest.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I've been watching you for a while, but not exactly sure how long. But yeah, that's pretty much me, Callum. Yep. Hi.
All right. Well, you're welcome. This is fun for me. It's I don't know if it's gonna go smoothly, if it's gonna blow up in our face, but we're just gonna chill. It'll be fun. Next up, we have Otso. Am I saying that right?
It's Ocho.
Ocho.
Yeah, I'm from the US, and I'm actually new to your stream.
Okay.
I played the game, and I started looking for LPers to watch it, because I couldn't get enough of it.
Cool. So you're one of the crazy Soma people that have come over. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, crazy Soma people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a few of you. That's cool. Well, thanks for joining. And next up we have Hiram.
Oh, hello. Let's see. I'm from West Coast, which is coincidentally the best coast. And
Is that only because it rhymes or what?
well, East. Yeah, I guess you're right. And also because I live there.
Okay, that works.
So I've actually known of your existence for like 4 days.
Oh, wow.
Which is interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
I wanted to watch somebody play Soma because my laptop is terrible and I couldn't run it, and I was a big fan of Amnesia.
Okay.
So I've been looking forward to it even though I can't run it.
Very
And
cool.
I found your Let's Play, watched it all the way through in like 2 days. I like the style, really long form. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad to have you, man. That's awesome. I just want to ask the Twitch chat real quick. Can you guys hear everybody okay? Everybody's volume is working out. You guys all sound great to me. You guys sound
Okay,
great to
good.
me. Yeah.
That's a relief.
I'm just going to wait until we get a response from the Twitch chat, and then we're going to launch into some questions. I have a few questions of my own. I didn't tell you guys, so I'll probably put you on the spot. But I know you guys are...
Oh, no.
Yay!
I know you guys
game.
are well prepared. So, yeah, I appreciate that, by the way. I really do.
Not at all.
Did our homework.
We
no, it's awesome.
we didn't know whether we'd be first or last, so we decided to make a very nice bullet point list just in case.
Yeah, good. Okay. I like your style. Very organized.
However, when nerves take over, we're probably going to stumble.
Don't
saying.
worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're all here. We're just hanging out. It's not a big deal. So, okay. Everybody seems like it sounds pretty good. And the first question that I'm going to ask the core group in Skype, and then people on Twitch, feel free to leave your comments as well. And I'll try to bring in your opinions as much as I can. We have about 5 or 6 groups, depending on how things go. I think probably 5. So I think we'll probably rotate out groups every 15 or 20 minutes. We'll just see how things go. I'm in no rush, so hopefully you guys aren't in a rush either, and we'll just be hanging out.
Nope.
Nope, we're good.
I will say, if you guys have not watched Soma, you probably don't want to be here, or if you haven't played it.
Yeah, this is gonna be pretty spoiler heavy.
Yeah, we're gonna ruin everything for you. So good luck. But yeah, okay. My first question for you guys. I don't know if you guys remember the first question that I asked in the video series, but it was about how do you define consciousness, and what do you guys think of consciousness and how it relates to what you experienced in Soma?
Okay, who's going first? Should I just go first?
Yeah,
let's
go
wing
ahead.
it. Let's wing it. So to me, conscience is a very, very difficult thing to define. I mean, there's no scientific definition because honestly, we have no idea what it is. So when you bring a game like Soma around and you throw a consciousness into what we would normally consider a static object, or an object that at least has no personality, has no soul, when you throw it into that, it throws the whole equation, or what little we do know of consciousness, out of the window and brings a whole new realm of possibilities. So honestly, I don't think consciousness is possible to define.
You could be a politician with that answer.
Well said.
No, I mean, right? It is. It's. I know I'm asking essentially an impossible question here, but that's why I like to ask it, because I think it's challenging to have to define something that nobody really understands, right? And I think in terms of like this game actually prompted me to do some research about what other people are researching into consciousness, and like it's a crapshoot. Like nobody really seems to know anything, and that's like it's exciting, but it's kind of scary at the same time. So I'm not surprised to hear you say that.
Well, yeah, because it is as Callum said, it's a pretty impossible thing to define. I mean, how do you define your own thought patterns?
Yeah.
It is pretty nearly impossible, because lots of people have lots of different ways they think. I mean, some people are more visual and they think about stuff, but they think about the picture of something. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're trying to define it like visually.
Yeah, you try to define things visually, or you try to define it as like narration, like, you know, stuff that happens like a writer base, you know, or I've even seen so far as to some people don't do either of those things. I'm not quite sure what they do, but I think it's very different for every person.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong. You're definitely not wrong.
I guess if I had to put it simply, I've had some time to think. Thanks for talking, guys. I honestly need
No
some time to
worries.
think but very simply, I think consciousness would be like a sense of self. I mean, if you think about it, you're conscious of yourself. Oh, hey, look, that's my avatar in the stream. Anyway,
I was just gonna say that.
I mean, very simply, I mean, I'm kind of a very concise kind of person. I just say it's kind of a sense of self, which means if you put your consciousness into a robot, you're still essentially yourself because you have your same thought process. It's your mind. It makes sense.
Yeah, I hear you. There's a thing in here from the Twitch chat which I want to share. Jazz Parks, she is giving credit to Google when she says this, so that's cool. But she goes, consciousness is a state of or quality of awareness, or of being aware of an external object or something within oneself. It has been defined as sentience, awareness, subjectivity, the ability to experience or to feel, wakefulness, having a sense of selfhood, and the executive control system of the mind.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It's complicated.
Sorry if you don't mind me just saying something here. I think that's really hard to measure, though, because how do you tell if someone else, specifically a robot, can make decisions for themselves, or whether that's just a program speaking, making ones and zeros into logical equations? Is that not what the mind is, though? It's really hard to measure.
Yeah.
I don't think you can pass a judgment on it. I think it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it comes down to, like, for me anyways, consciousness is about, like, your perception of things. I think it's about, you know, all of your previous experiences in your entire life kind of culminate in every little decision that you make. And it's how you perceive the world around you based on those past experiences. Does that make any sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be
like
right.
What the continuity people were saying about how yourself is a thing in progress and not just a moment.
Well, yeah. We discussed this lightly beforehand when we were trying to discuss topics about the continuity. I kind of understand to a point why the consciousness is like that.
Mm-hmm.
They think like that because they want to be that same person in the moment that they are on the arc. They don't want to have a branch from that.
Yeah.
So I think that's possibly part of consciousness being an ever evolving kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see that. If you guys want, we could jump into some of your... I know you put a lot of work into the questions that you prepared ahead of time. So...
Well, we didn't know we were going first.
A mild amount of work.
Yeah, no, that's okay. This is great. Feel free if it's a discussion that you guys have want to have, like, as a group, let us know. If it's something that you have more of a pointed question for somebody in the group because they have an interesting view of it, that's cool as well.
Oh, I see our bullet point in the stream now.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll close it up for
Don't
you.
scroll up
No,
too
it's
far. There's
okay.
some weird stuff in there.
That's okay.
That's all right.
I removed all the porn you guys were sending, so it's fine.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay then.
Okay. But no, we just didn't know when we were going, so we wanted to have a bunch of stuff ready just in case somebody has already talked about
Sure.
half the stuff we were gonna talk about. But I was elected because I brought the first point up myself. The Kate decision.
Yeah? What about it?
I was yelling at my computer screen the
Yeah.
entire time.
I know.
I
I got that
Yeah.
vibe from a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, I just didn't. We discussed this a little bit as well when we were talking about what to talk about, and it's the decision between doing what you did to Kate or with the robot that was just floating around and talking.
Yeah.
We were discussing the difference between the two and why one would be better than the other.
Yeah. And what did you think? I think I understand which robot you would have killed. But
The one that was talking.
yeah,
Personally-
yeah, sure.
You monster.
But why would you... Now, let me ask you why. What's your reasoning for it?
My reasoning for it is that Kate presented at least a bit more intelligence
Okay.
than, say, the one that was talking. The one that was talking, even when you talked to it, it was like, hey, Simon goes, hey, and the robot's like, I got it handled,
Right, yeah,
I got
yeah.
it. It just kept repeating the same phrases, and so it wasn't exactly consciousness inside of it. It seemed like a program gone bad.
Right.
My angle on this was... this could be true, it might not be, but I thought that because those robots didn't serve, like, any purpose to the narrative, that when you kept, like, talking to them over and over, they just kept saying the same thing over and over. Like, you kind of noticed that you tried to exhaust every speech option when you're talking to the more important characters.
Yeah.
And at some point, they just keep saying the same thing over and over. So I think that might be just a design thing rather than them trying to express that those robots didn't have any consciousness.
Well,
I think those are pretty much the same as, like, Carl or any other one.
I actually disagree with that because I think that that one didn't even have a conversation with you at all. It never did. It kept like talking to itself, even when Simon was trying to talk to it.
If you actually follow it around for a while, you can hear it having a conversation with itself, and it seems like the WoW or whatever put two different people into it, actually. Like, there's two different scans in it. So for me, I chose to kill that one, and I felt like I was putting it out of its misery. Like, it was not okay.
That's true.
Yeah, and for me, it's one of those things where, like, really shortly after I did it, I was like, fuck, what have I done? But like, my thing is like I always just live with the choices that I make for better or for worse, and you know, if there's a couple of things that I would probably do differently in like in some of the decisions that I made, but I think I was like, okay, fuck it, I got to convince myself that this is the right thing, and I got to move on.
Yeah.
But you know, thinking back, like the way I kind of describe it, or the way I think about it, is the talking robot. Did he even have a name? Did he give himself? I think he had a name.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think. I think it said it briefly, like before, like when it was in the subtitles.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't relevant really to the story. So.
Yeah, I know.
I believe he did, because he was speaking to another. It was like he was trapped in a memory almost, speaking to Brandon, the security guard. I've forgotten his actual full name.
Yeah.
So it was really complex, really, what was happening.
Yeah.
I agree with somebody in the chat right now. Kate was a total bro. That matters.
It's true. It's true, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you could look at that as like, you know, if Kate was a total bro, she's probably cool sacrificing herself for my greater good, right?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's just what I tell myself to convince myself that it's okay. But
But you made the correct decision.
right, exactly.
Oh,
But,
look,
you know-
my avatar changed. Sorry.
Oh,
Off topic.
that's okay.
I
You have a
changed
nice,
it to my cat. To
you have a
see
nice
it show
cat.
up on the screen.
it's cool. So, I do think, because you guys were talking about how like he sounded more like a program, like he was just repeating things, and I guess I would compare it to like somebody that was in like a vegetative state. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they were there, but like not really there.
Yeah.
And for me, sometimes like I have a problem with being overly compassionate and thinking things through too much. And the way I kind of reasoned it in my head was that Kate was like, she was like a little drone, right? And it's fully programmed like what to do. Yeah, she's communicating with lights and beeps and that kind of stuff. But the other one, I was like, oh, this guy is like, I'm going to use the word sick here, but maybe that's not the best way to describe it. But this person's like sick. They're like unable to express themselves, or they're like broken. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I kind of had I had more compassion there for some reason. Well, not for some reason. That's why I had it. But that factored into my decision as well.
Can I just quote something on the Twitch chat that I've seen here?
Yeah, of course.
I'm not sure how to say that. Abbotscarian, is that right? Just said that Kate might have been a real person, but unable to communicate, as in the design specifications, it was said that it lacked any sort of communication system other than the lights and the beeps.
Yeah.
That is a thought. I don't know if it's likely, but it's definitely a thought.
Yeah, that is definitely a thought. Well, I don't know. To me, Kate presented much more of a personality than the one that went around talking. But I almost wonder that if you don't do anything to Kate there, if Kate shows up in the next ocean level. Because she seemed to have followed you from, I think it was Theta to Lambda.
Yeah, she doesn't follow you after that, unfortunately. I wanted her to stick around and be my friend.
Oh, that's too bad.
But no.
And you know what? There's kind of another thing that I want to talk about based on that. Like one of the challenges I have, and one of my criticisms of the game, is that it seems like the choices that you make don't really matter. Like,
oh, you looked at
Yes,
our bulletin
we were
points.
talking about that a lot.
yeah.
something-
Oh, I didn't actually notice that in your points, but
Yeah,
I thought you were making a cool segue, but I,
I
guess
thought he
not.
was too.
no, sorry. I just thought it made like, because you were saying that Kate didn't follow
Yeah.
you, right? So you know, you make the decision, which is a heavily weighted decision to decide which robot you're going to essentially kill, or destroy, whatever word you
Yeah.
want to use. But then nothing happens. You just move on, and either Kate's there or Kate's gone. Like, doesn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to really matter.
Yeah, we actually discussed when we were talking about the points to bring up. We actually have choices are hard, but do they have an effect on the game?
Right.
So far, the ones that we could think of don't really.
Yeah.
I mean, Kate obviously now is one of the ones that can go on the list because she doesn't follow you later on, but also Carl.
Oh, big time.
Carl doesn't really do anything. Apparently, there's a way to put him down nicely instead of electrocuting him.
Instead of leaving him in total pain like
Just
I did?
leaving him there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Now I feel even better.
I'm
It's
sorry,
okay.
we're not trying to make
Just
you
a
feel
robot,
bad.
right?
I'm just kidding. No, he's not a robot.
thing-
That's the whole thing.
He's not just a robot.
It's a joke, guys.
Yeah, I
But
know.
it does seem that some of those choices don't actually have an impact on the rest of the game.
No, they don't. And yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. No, it's fine. Go ahead.
If we want to get into like the choices of the game, which I think is a good thing to discuss actually. Jatank in the chat is saying there's actually no way to put him down nicely. It's possible to pull another switch. I think it's either like torture or straight up death, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so either like, I mean, they're both terrible choices, really. Because I was making
Well,
this. Go ahead.
it seems like all of them are terrible choices.
Yeah, and you know what? I like that. I like that it's like there's not a clear good or bad decision in any of the choices. Although people have their opinions, that's fine. But I don't think there's a clear like. If you think about like BioWare games, right? I don't know. Have you guys ever played like any Mass Effect games or like Dragon Age?
Oh,
Okay.
I've played
you might have
Dragon
seen
Age,
this.
and I've been watching your playthrough of Mass Effect.
Okay, cool. So like top decision, good guy thing. Bottom
Yep.
decision, bad guy thing, right? I like when games don't do that. Like like Soma does, like The Witcher, like you never fucking know what's happening. But there's
I think Until Dawn kind of does something like that too.
yeah, Until Dawn's not super clear. You're right.
Not really.
Yeah. Yeah. But so there's a couple choices, right? There's Carl, there's Kate, there's
Lindwall.
yeah, Linwall, like to kill her or to not.
The other
Yeah.
Simon.
The other
there's
Simon.
Simon.
I'm gonna actually write these down. Oh, you guys probably have them already.
Actually, we don't, but
We just have memorized, you know.
I don't memorize anything. If you guys have watched 30 minutes of any of my videos, you'd see that.
I actually have been making the lists that we have, so
Okay, so I've got
I like
Kate,
lists.
Carl, Lindwall, other Simon, and the WoW. Am I missing any?
There's like some more minor decisions
Carl.
early on. There's one where you can decide whether or not to delete your legacy files from the computer. So
Oh,
they
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did anybody do that?
No.
Oh yeah, and then there's when you're
Oh.
running the simulation of that one guy,
Yep.
you can. Is it to leave him in the simulation, or is it to just delete him?
It's like
altogether?
Brandon or whatever.
Yeah,
You
it was
Yeah.
can
either
either shut it down and thereby someone else could start up the simulation again, or you can like delete him from it completely.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
that's another one. Like the choices were really cool because they were hard and they were pretty gray.
Yeah.
Like you could have sat there and just thought about what would happen over and over, but again, like the gripe is like with a lot of games, it's like the illusion of choice. You're presented with a really cool choice. You can think about it forever, but it doesn't really matter what you do.
Yeah.
Because it'll just be the same. But like they could have. I mean, there's a reason behind that. Like if you have a whole bunch of branching paths, that creates a lot of like content that you have to make. So
yeah, like from a game
I guess
design
it's an easy
perspective,
way to
it's-
have those fun choices. Or
yeah,
not fun,
it's like
those,
almost impossible to
interesting.
truly do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like just from
Well,
a game
if they
perspective.
do it, yeah, if you do it, then you have probably 20 more hours of game to make because then you have to follow what that decision's ramifications are through the
Mhm.
rest of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then 50% of people never see it or less,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, depending on what the choice actually was.
Yeah.
They could have just had other Simon follow you awkwardly through the entire game if you decided not to kill him.
Yeah, you
Oh,
just
that would
turn
be
around and
great.
you're like, "What's up?" He just follows you. What
You
did,
don't even need mirrors. You can just look at him.
yeah, so true. What did you guys do with other Simon? Let's talk about that a bit.
I left him alive kind of for the same reasons you did. Like I felt like we were pretty smart and capable people, and he would have a chance at getting himself out of that situation. And then after the ending happened, I felt really good about that decision because I was like, I'm not alone. I can go back and make friends with other Simon.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
except
that's
that,
true.
Except that you've trapped yourself out of that room, I think. I don't think you have a way in
I
there.
think you
Yeah.
can.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, see, that's what I said. I was like, I'm smart. I'll figure this shit out. Cool. Good luck.
See, my only problem with that is that you left other Simon in the room, and there are monsters banging on the door, and there's like nowhere for him to go.
Yeah, I would have killed him.
Why
don't
would
know.
you guys kill him? And how do you like justify that?
So the reason you ran in the first place from that room is because there were monsters at the door. So, I mean, like, this world is crazy. You can make tons of arguments. I don't know. Like, what if the monsters found him, but he was asleep? They might have done nothing. They might have like grabbed him and like assimilated him into the wall, like all those other people.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I probably would have killed him just because he seemed like he was in a really doomed situation. And it wouldn't make sense. I'd like put him out of his misery kind of thing. I don't know.
Right.
It's a hard choice.
That brings
Yeah,
up
I mean-
an... Sorry.
Go
Go ahead,
ahead.
Callum.
No, you
That brings up an interesting point, though, where definitely at the last part with the WoW, the monsters don't seem to outright kill you. They just... I don't even know what they do. They just mess you around a bit and then walk off. They just leave you there, lying down. What's
Although-
that all about?
Yeah, at that point of the game, you don't actually know that until you got caught later.
Someone suggested to me that what happens if the monster catches you is it's actually taking some of your structure gel, and that's why when you stick your hand in the wall, it gets better because the WoW is putting more structure gel into you.
That makes
So
sense.
they're not actually killing you. You might die eventually, but
The thing about that, though, is other Simon wouldn't know that. And you've basically locked other Simon in a room with monsters banging down the door and no way to get out.
Hey, sheep,
Somebody in
come
the
here.
chat actually brought up a good point. You take Catherine and the Omnitool with you so he can't open the doors.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you can't go back and visit him.
I forgot about that.
Like first of all, I want to say
That's right,
thanks, Smart Kate, for the subscription. But it's really
Great.
interesting to me that everybody was. The biggest issue was like, well, you left him trapped in a room where there's literally no way out. But I kind of think like, I don't know, maybe like my thoughts are we could figure it out. We've gotten this far. We did pretty well. And
Yeah.
I'm always in favor of like a chance over just making the decision for somebody else. And I guess it's like the real question is other Simon, so new Simon, well, which is us.
Yeah.
Okay, so is old Simon still a person? Is he a separate person or is he yourself? And is it okay to make that decision for him or yourself, depending on how you view it?
Like,
Well, that's
in the
fine.
moment. Oh, wait. You want to go? You can go.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I'll
'cause,
get my
like-
point in later.
I was thinking like, so we end up, because of gameplay reasons, we end up in the new Simon and old Simon is just sitting there. But if it were the other way around, I wouldn't want my new me to just be like, well, we're just gonna kill you off now. I would be like, no, please don't do that to me.
Right?
So
Mm.
I wasn't really comfortable with that. But I also feel like by the end of the game, new Simon has had new experiences, so they are now distinctly different people. So I feel okay about the fact that there's two of them running around.
Yep. I'm with you.
I don't know. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm just saying, personally for me, I'm not sure which I would choose if it was actually me in this situation, because the me would be freaking out anyway. And I'm not sure I would want to be left alone in a room without any way out. Like, yeah, you figured it all out up until this point, but you've also had help from Catherine, who new Simon is taking away.
Yeah, I guess it's like, if it was me and I don't know. I just have a hard time being like, okay, I guess we're done here. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like you always have to try. That's just that's like something ingrained in me for some reason. So like, I can totally appreciate where people come from when they say that, but I think, you know, the way that Ocho made it sound was like, what if the roles were reversed? What if you, quote unquote, lost the coin flip and you're stuck in old Simon's body? New Simon comes up to you and is like, oh, I'm gonna kill you. Good luck. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You're like screaming on the inside.
Right?
Yeah, I can understand. I understand that point of view. I just, it would be a hard decision either way anyway. It's just...
Yeah, it seems like the
There's no
perspective
good
really
choice.
changes Like when you're the other Simon sitting in the seat, and when you're the Simon that has the chance to kill him, like
Yeah.
the perspective changes. I mean, I guess I'm thinking from this perspective of like the Simon who is not
Yeah.
other Simon.
Yeah. Hiram did question earlier, before you joined us, Chris, whether the coin flip was actually
A
an
coin flip?
existent thing.
Yeah.
Where you changed the consciousness, whether it was actually an existing thing or whether that was just something Catherine told you to comfort yourself.
Right. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I think we have to have the coin flip for like gameplay reasons, because it wouldn't be a very interesting game if we spent the rest of the time sitting in a dark room.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't
True.
think that the coin flip actually exists. I don't think Catherine was lying. I just think she's trying to phrase it in a more comforting way.
Well, she's trying to make Simon feel better because he's sitting there going, "Wait, you copied me? That wasn't
Yeah,
what we were
Simon's very
supposed to
not
do."
okay with that.
Yeah, I think I kind of think that there is no coin flip. I think you transfer consciousness, and like I guess the way that you have to think about it is because it's a game, the answer is different than if it was like real life. Because
Well, yeah.
because if it's real life, there is no coin flip. They're just all of a sudden becomes two exact copies and they both go and do their own thing, right?
Yeah.
But because it's a game, it's saying like, okay, you have to win these coin flips in order to like progress. So I almost feel like the coin flips are kind of a moot point because of the fact
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
like it's a game first and foremost, and you have to keep progressing. If you can't have two simultaneous streams of people going that you're controlling. I guess you could, but it would be a disaster to build.
That would be an
Yeah.
interesting game.
Yeah.
That would be difficult.
Yeah, split screen, single player. Stupid.
I mean, it'd be kind of interesting now that we say it, but yeah.
It would be interesting.
DLC coming out for Soma.
Yep.
Yep,
Make
they
it for
all kinds
DLC.
of one.
Yeah.
For all
Uh,
you modders out there, make this a
Definitely
thing.
do that.
What if? Well, the thing is, actually, so Soma is open for people to make like their own stories and stuff, similar to Amnesia. So it'd be interesting. I would love to play a story where you wake up as like the other Simon that got left in that room, and you had to get out somehow.
That
I'm
that
sure
would be
someone's gonna
intriguing.
make that.
I'm sure.
But the thing is you.
I-
Here's my idea,
Sorry.
and if anybody steals it, I'm gonna know. But my idea is, you wake up in the room as old Simon or whatever in the chair, and there literally is no way out, and you just starve and die, and then you feel terrible about that decision.
Yeah, I think
Thank
people.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think people would mod it just to give themselves some closure over what they've done.
Oh, I can see
Just so they can, just so they can feel like their decisions had consequences, even if it was just a small, 10-minute playthrough of seeing what you did and how they
And
affect
how-
things.
How you magically got back on the climber and go down and meet other Simon,
that. Yeah.
even if that actually would not work out at all.
Yeah.
It would be a way for that person to feel better about the decision that they made.
Yep. I agree.
I think if that happened, you just have two Simons that are disappointed they didn't get on the ark,
True.
which would make a kind of interesting ending.
Yeah, you're not wrong there for sure.
Yeah.
Fine,
Somebody
if
in the
you
chat.
bring Catherine back, they'll both annoy her forever. It'll be great.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Hey, so I have a question. Before I ask my question, somebody in the chat's bringing up, it sounds like a Christopher Nolan thing, like The Prestige. Have you guys seen this movie, The Prestige?
I have not. I don't think I've heard of it.
No, I have not.
Okay, you have to watch The Prestige. I won't ruin
Okay.
it for you, but you have to watch The
started
Prestige.
watching.
It's a really good movie, and there's some similarities. So yeah.
Okay.
Oh, now I lost my train of thought for the question I was going to ask you guys.
That's all right.
It's okay. We have a list.
Yeah. Okay, well, go
See,
ahead. Go on
sorry.
in your list. Oh, no, I got it. I figured it out.
Oh, yes.
So you know at the very end, and you're walking. If you haven't seen the end, guys, I'm about to ruin it. If you
Everyone dies.
yeah. So you end up in like the lush, like, oh, this is the Ark or whatever, right? And then
Yes.
and then there's the woman at the end, and she turns around, and it's Catherine, and you're like, okay, cool, right? But did you guys not at that point think, like, for me, the first person I thought about was Ashley, and I was like, oh shit. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that there was like some wrap up there because we had like that flashback at one point where we saw her standing in
we
front of the
did
window.
talk about
Yeah,
that.
actually, Ocho brought up something that she read about Ashley.
Okay.
I'll let you talk about it.
Oh, so I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's this secret file that's been discovered that has a bunch of concept art and things that the game could be.
Yep.
And one of the things in there was a picture of Ashley with like her face all fucked up, and then I read further that apparently she was supposed to have a much, much bigger role in the game, and they just like wrote that out entirely.
Oh yeah.
They decided that they would incorporate it more around Catherine than Ashley. Ashley was supposed to be a big thing, whole storyline, everything. They cut it out.
I wonder why.
I'm not sure why. Yeah.
Maybe they couldn't have two sassy ladies.
What's that? Sorry.
Maybe they couldn't have two sassy ladies.
Yeah, that's too much sass for one game.
That's
or what?
overload.
Yeah,
I get
something like that.
Okay,
I mean,
so I'm gonna pass it to you guys to ask one more question from your
Okay.
list, and then we'll probably rotate into the next group.
Um,
No pressure.
Well, yeah, I know, right? Well, we do have game design versus Amnesia, and I know Hiram really wanted to talk about that.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So I'll toss it over to him for that one.
Something I think is interesting to consider, and a question, I guess, for everybody. I
I
personally
like the,
think that
first of all, I like
Soma-
the bulldog. I have to say.
Thank you. I changed it again. I'm glad you noticed.
Yeah, well, I noticed.
I'm glad that it's showing up on stream. I promise not to put anything weird.
Uh-huh. Because
Anyway,
a bulldog with colored glasses is not weird.
Nope,
beautiful.
Not at
not
all.
for him.
No.
Not for him. I've known him for a full 24 hours. Not for him.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, I just make that weird impression on people. Anyway, what's it? Never mind. But that Soma, I think Soma's a better sequel to the original Amnesia than Amnesia Machine for Pigs. First of all, because Soma and the original Amnesia are developed by the same company. But second of all, they are very similar, like in terms of mechanics and the way they do the scares and everything.
Okay.
So I just thought it would be like I should point out some things, like the things that you were calling spores.
Yeah.
Whenever you put your arm in them, you
What are those
flash
called?
blue. I don't know.
Okay.
I
It's called
actually don't
spores.
know.
No idea.
Let's just call them
Here we
spores.
go.
Oh, wow.
It's
thing.
easier.
That would have been something we should have looked up.
Google's a friend.
So we're not prepared enough. Anyway.
I'm okay with spores.
Yeah, spores is good. You flash blue,
Yeah.
which in Amnesia meant healing.
Right.
So as soon as you put your arm in the first, or I
Chat
guess you
says
just poke
nodes.
Nodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like spores.
Nodes.
I like sports better.
Yeah.
I
Spores
mean,
better.
when you watch that entire playthrough for like, what is it, like 6 hours or something, and you hear spores, it's just easier.
Yeah. I did just as I don't want to get off topic too much here, but
Mhm.
I remember when I first played Half-Life, and I had no idea, I'd never played this game before, and I was calling the little head crabs, I think I was calling them chickens or something, and and that stuck, that followed me around for like a year.
I'd eat a head crab.
Yeah. So anyways,
That
all I'm
didn't go
saying
as well.
is if I don't know what it is, I'll just make something up. So spores.
That's the way everything
Spores
goes.
works.
But what you're saying
You'll
essentially is it's the same system as in Amnesia, which took me like a lot longer to pick up on than I wanted to. I was like, what are these spores
Smooth
doing?
it out a lot.
Oh yeah, because the healing sign didn't give it away.
Well, because
Yeah. So.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh. Okay. Like when the first time you poked a spore and it flashed blue, because I was already aware that this was developed by the same people, and I knew they were probably going for the same like horror kind of thing.
Right.
I was like, it flashed blue, and I was like, oh, healing, and so it wasn't very mysterious at all, which is kind of funny.
Funny enough, I didn't get that. I've seen so many playthroughs of Amnesia, and that actually didn't connect in my brain.
You know
I
what it
actually
is?
was-
Is like, for me, it's because I don't think early on, like, I was never in a situation. At least I don't remember that I was in a situation where I was scared, and so I didn't notice like the screen was dimming or that it was getting all glitchy, like when things get
Yeah.
really crazy. So the healing thing didn't really click in until that happened to me the first time, where I was like, oh fuck, my screen's all glitchy, and then I'm healed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then it's so obvious. But
Yeah.
you want to know what, like, I don't know if you guys saw the all of my experience, but I honestly thought that these were all small individual choices, and that somehow it would like come back at the end. It's like,
I thought so too.
I
Okay,
thought about that too,
good.
because every single time you used one, something like glitched.
yeah, like it would
or
like burst out a
fried.
light or something.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
something would fry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have made sense if that actually meant something. It's something interesting that's happening right now in the video that's showing on the stream.
Yeah.
It's something really cool they did in Amnesia
Yeah.
that they also did in this game, is where they had you hear some like scream, like some inhuman scream that kind of sounded like a monster.
Yeah.
And the tutorial chimes in, is like, oh hey, by the way, if you want to hide, press crouch.
Right.
So it freaks you out at the very beginning, even though you don't see a monster for a couple of hours.
Oh, that's a good
They did the
point.
same thing in Amnesia.
Everybody.
So it's
in
like,
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
if you're,
What is
I guess if you're tuned into things like that, the game isn't very scary.
Yeah.
Almost a little bit laughable
Yeah.
at some points, at least.
I think like everybody in the chat is saying, well, there was like a cross on it, so that would obviously
that's
Yeah.
indicate healing. But honestly, for me, it's like the way that the cross was designed. It was like kind of like dripping almost. So I was like, I could be removing life from this thing. That's what I thought the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early, I was like, I think I'm killing this thing, and I don't know if that's good or if that's bad. So I'm just gonna continue killing them, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, another thing I thought that was interesting, if you put it up towards the Amnesia games, this one actually wasn't quite as terrifying.
No, it was way different.
Really, I'm more scared by this than Amnesia.
I
Well,
think
it
I
didn't
think
have-
it was different.
Yeah, it was different in the way that there wasn't quite as many like monster scares.
Mhm.
I mean, the one that immediately comes to mind for Amnesia is the freaking water monster that just makes me want to turn the video off I'm watching.
Yeah,
But
it's so true.
but it seemed to have less of those than, I mean, yeah, you ran into the proxy, but the proxy were fairly easy to get around.
Mhm.
Actually, from what I saw, at least. I haven't actually played the game, but it seemed like they couldn't
Maybe I'm just bad at the game.
it seemed like they couldn't see you. It was almost like clickers in The Last of Us.
Oh
they
yeah,
can only
okay.
hear.
Yeah, that's a good
'Cause
comparison.
So if when you're in that like maze area trying to turn on the router, if you pick stuff up on the ground and throw it around, it'll confuse the monster.
Oh yeah. By the way, fuck that area. Like
Yeah, that was like the worst thing that ever happened to me.
I was
I
so
feel
pissed.
personally victimized by that.
I was so
You-
pissed. Like I was
okay.
right there. I went to the right spot, like at the very beginning. I was like, oh, I don't see anything. So then I went all
Yeah.
over the place. It was just a disaster.
Yeah, I thought about that when I was watching you play. I was like, that's probably it.
Yeah.
You're probably running around for no reason. But the other thing about it is the reason I akin them to clickers is because at some point before that you read something about the proxy
Yeah.
that said that they couldn't see. And so I was wondering why you were freaking out when it was getting close. Because with clickers, they could get within, 2 feet of you and they had no idea.
Yeah.
But it could just be, as I said, haven't played the game, but it could be that they're designed a little differently than like the clickers are.
Yeah. I think, like one of the things people ask me, like, oh, you have a really low like tolerance for jump scares, and you like, why would you just hide in the corner for these monsters? Like, my thing is when I play these games, like, you see all the light in this room right now? That doesn't happen when I'm playing these games. Like, it is dark. Those are blackout blinds. Like, you pull them down, it's like there's no light coming in there. I turn off everything, and the only thing I see is that game. And I turn up my headphones like much louder than they should be. And
Yeah.
it's just like, for me, that's the only way to play these games. Like, you have to kind of let yourself go, and
Well,
there's
yeah,
always
some
like
games
that.
are.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, some games are like that. Some games you can play in the middle of broad daylight, and they're not quite as scary as when you're playing them in pitch black rooms with
Yeah. Yeah, so
all
I
the
mean,
volume.
I'm mostly using that excuse to justify how freaked out I got, but whatever. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I want to say on behalf of the chat and myself, thank you guys very much. I think you guys have brought up some really interesting topics, and you guys were all super well spoken. So Angel, Callum, Ocho, and Hiram, I want to say thanks so much for putting in the work beforehand, because I saw a lot of it. And I look forward to chatting with you guys in the future.
Well, thank you so much for having us. Seriously.
No, this
It's
is
been fun.
this is awesome.
All right, thank you.
Do you guys have any do you guys do any social media stuff? Like, are you on Twitter or anything like that?
I have nothing to plug.
Okay.
I have nothing
No.
to
I
plug.
have Twitter, but I'm not sure I want to give it out on
Okay.
stream.
Okay. Cool. No worries.
I'm
Well,
not that well known of a writer yet, so we're good.
Okay. Cool. Well, hit me up. Somewhere. Probably on Twitter is the best, and I'll keep in touch with you guys for sure. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Take
Thank you
care.
so much.
All
for
right.
having us.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
So yeah, I'm going to get in the next group here, guys. So give me a couple minutes, and we'll get all set up. Okay. Okay, everybody, we're back. I've got another group with us here, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves. We've got 7 people in this group, also very well prepared, I think. So without further ado, we have Taz, Tepan, Rami, Someone, Jatank, Keith, and Patrick. How are you guys doing?
Right, thanks.
Fine.
Hi, Chris. Fine.
Good, good.
Yep, we're good.
All right.
So I'll maybe ask you guys to introduce yourselves in the order that I see you. I see Taz, you're up first.
Okay, first of all, I'm from Finland. I'm a big fan of frictional games, so I found your channel through Soma. But been watching your Let's Plays ever since, and loving the beginner's guide, by the way.
Cool. Tapan, you're next.
Hello everyone, my name's Tapan. I'm from India. I've been watching your channel for about a year.
Oh, cool.
Mostly all the horror games that I'm too chicken to play myself.
That's cool.
And yeah, I really like your Let's Plays. I like how you explore the story. Give a lot of importance to the deep issues, deep storyline of games.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man. I just do it, I just have fun, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it. That's very cool. Rami. I can't hear Rami.
I mean, you there?
I'm here.
There you go.
I'm Rami, and I'm from Finland. I've been watching your videos for about a year or so, and really liked your playthrough of Soma, and loving the beginner's guide as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, beginner's guide is weird, hey?
That's why it's awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
Heavy
Someone.
stuff.
Hello, I'm Someone. I'm from Western Germany. I'm also quite new to your channel because of Soma.
Cool.
And yeah, very much like your style, because you go in depth. You don't just rush, you don't derp around, you explore the things, and you show all the content. I'm also liking the beginner's guide, although, to be honest, I already know what it is about and how it ends, so...
Oh my god,
Which is
stop
so
talking!
Yeah,
I'm just
not
kidding.
spoiling anything.
I know you wouldn't.
Anyway,
thanks for the kind words. No, that's great. This is like the international crew right here. We got people from all over the place. This is awesome. Jatank, what about you? Where are you from?
Yeah, well, I can't add anything to the international crew because I'm from Germany too.
Okay.
I study media engineering in Germany, in Hamburg.
Cool.
And I stumbled upon your channel with your Layers of Fear Let's Play, to be exact.
Oh, okay.
Because I really liked that game and I was searching for YouTubers who did it too. And you were one of the first search results, so
Okay.
I jumped right into it. And I really liked your style because you put the game in the main position and not yourself. So I stick with that, and I'm pretty
Cool.
happy I did. I watched about 200 gigabytes of data of your Let's Plays already
Oh my
since I
god.
found your channel.
I'm so sorry for your data plan.
My data plan is limited for months for 10 and 100 gigabytes. So, well, it took up much of that.
Well, thanks for coming over, man. I appreciate that. Layers of Fear was one of the best horror experiences I've had in a very long time. I thought it was really well done.
I agree with that.
Yeah, really well done. And it's not even done. Like, I can't wait. I'm stoked. Keith, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm here. Yeah, my name's Keith. I'm living in Germany too, but in the east. So yeah, we had all fun celebrating Day of National Unity yesterday. But yeah, I'm basically living in Dresden, studying physics, and I was let me think. I think I stumbled upon you when you were doing your Mass Effect 3 Let's Play. I kind of was going through all the stuff you made to that because it made me feel like I was playing the game myself again. I recognized so many of my decisions. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming to chat with us. I think it's gonna be fun.
Sure.
And Patrick.
Yeah, I'm Patrick I'm from Ireland. I've been watching you for about a year and a half now since Mass Effect. Friend recommended it to me.
Cool. I'm sorry for your friend to pass that off on to you.
Nah, it's fine. I was been looking for anything to do with that game.
Oh, cool.
So.
Very cool. Well, thanks for coming out, guys. So I'm just gonna ask the chat again as I did with the previous group. Can you guys hear everything okay? How are the volumes? Is the Skype call coming through loud and clear in the stream? And does anybody want to move to Germany to join these cool guys? Because
yes, please move to Germany.
Come all in. It's open hour here.
3 of you guys from Germany?
We could.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so.
And then India, Ireland.
Yeah,
Taz, where are you from?
From Finland.
Finland and Rami?
Finland also.
Okay, cool. Very cool. This is like the Olympics. It's good times. All right, everything sounds good. So, look, I'm actually going to pass it to you guys first. I keep, like, looking over here, realizing that, anyway, doesn't matter. You guys, never mind. So, what do you guys want to talk about? What's on your agenda?
So the first point on my list would be the question how everybody or how you especially would react when the Earth went down, because we noticed that in Soma most people just seem to be very calm as fuck to be exact, and we thought that is maybe a little bit interesting and a topic to discuss. Some examples to do things would be if you wanted to plant a tree or go looting, visit your loved ones until the end, or if you would kill yourself.
Wow. So you're kind of referencing like the whole comet hitting the Earth situation.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll answer first, I guess. My thought process is in the context of that world. I almost feel like because they were in such an isolated position, they were like at the bottom of the ocean, essentially. Almost feel like there's a strange disconnect. Like we didn't come in at like their grieving period, right? We came in after this had already happened. And so I imagine myself as they would, like when it first happened, you're just like, you kind of just give up for a while. You probably just, like, there's a disaster. You think about your family. You think about anybody that left behind before you ventured down to the bottom of the ocean. And then over time, I think you just kind of pick yourself back up and your survival instincts kick in, which I think is what happened with the Ark creation, right? I think there's always a way. There's always something to try. And it's similar to the discussion that we were having with the previous group where we were talking about leaving old Simon in the room. Is that a good decision or not? And I'm always in favor of pushing on and like making sure that it's that there's a chance. I don't like to just shut things down if I can avoid it in any way.
There are two arguments, one for and one against that, what you said, because there's one data thing you pick up at the first shuttle station from this guy who talks to his girlfriend about stuff, how he wished he'd done things differently and stuff, which probably happened right after the breakdown. But also there are other notes right after the impact that are quite normal. For example, there are these notes from these other stations from the surface who talk about the impact and just say, yeah, you guys have the better survival options, but we have the better view and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the resignation in the what you experience from directions of the world outside of Pathos 2, prior or right next to the impact, is just so stunning. Like, if you think of it, I mean, nobody of us can probably relate to an event that extincts basically the whole of humanity, but
No,
man,
not quite.
if you just think of it. But I'm coming back to like the very first question here is, the first thing I would do is probably call Michael Bay and tell him to write some of that shit down.
Yeah, bring your
make
camera,
for a good
bro.
last movie.
Yeah, you're right. I have a question, and maybe you guys know the answer to this. Like, comets don't just happen out of nowhere, right? Did they know, like, there must have been some advance warning, like...
Yeah, I was looking at this a bit. They did have advance warning, and they tried to stop it, but failed.
Right.
Yeah, there were was at least one note mentioning it.
Okay.
Yes, it stated in the game that at some point all what they tried kind of failed, and that they actually tried to stop it, but it just didn't work out the way they wanted.
Right.
And if you can't do anything about it, it's of course this big looming disaster. If I may of course be wrong here because I remember things so weirdly sometimes, but in reality there's something like that too, like an asteroid called Apophis that has like a very slim chance of hitting Earth somewhere in 2036. So, and while it's it's a very slim chance, people suggest by now, they're like already looking into stuff. How can we prevent something like that, the extinction of Earth by an asteroid or a comet or something? But what if it's like so far-fetched and like just big undertakings and you only have one shot. For example, if you think of plans like there are of just deflecting a comet by putting engines onto it and just a short burst in advance. If that doesn't work, you're fucked anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you kind of make an interesting point about how like you don't really we can't comprehend it, right? So until you're in that scenario, you really never know how you're going to react. But I truly think that my personal belief is that most people's survival instincts will kick in, and you'll try and do anything that you can to kind of preserve humanity. Which, in relation to Soma, they created the Ark, and I think that to them that was like, that's how we're going to save quote unquote humanity, by making these copies of your consciousness, right?
Yeah, but
well, that's also what the WoW was
the Ark
doing.
is a dead end. They don't have any way to get out of the Ark. It's only a simulation.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%.
But I guess if
that's all that's left, what do what's your other alternative?
But, like, it feels so weird being suspended. Like Catherine said that one time, she being inside this cortex chip feels like being suspended in air, and a whole existence around this suspension in the Ark.
Yeah,
it just feels so weird.
I think the suspension in air thing is just because she did not have anything around her built into this cortex chip. In the Ark, it's physics. In the Ark, it's trees. There are lakes. There are cities. There are other people. I don't think that you have that suspension in air feeling when you are in the Ark.
Yeah,
but I think
the suspension.
Yeah.
Well, that's
the
not what
suspension that Catherine talks about, I believe that comes because there is no body that she has in the cortex chip. In the Ark, it's different. They have these virtual bodies. They have a virtual world to interact with. So it's not going to be the same as being in a cortex chip when you're in the Ark.
Yeah, but I think, don't you think deep inside yourself, like you are in this world, in this virtual world. It's like, I imagine living, like it's like living in the Matrix and knowing one is in the Matrix. It's this weird feeling. And I don't think it was like mentioned if people can actually die in the Ark or produce offspring or whatever. But let's just think about the possibility that people in the Ark are immortal and they exist in there forever. And and at some point,
that's a very disturbing thought to me.
It is.
At some point, you just lose the feeling of life and time, I would say.
Well, there's a guy in the Twitch chat who's asking, Cool Fry Master, saying, do the people on the Ark know that they're actually in the Ark? And the answer to that is yes, they do.
It seems so, yeah.
Definitely.
There's that terminal at the start where it's asking a question about how do you feel when you're on the Ark, so they must know.
Yeah, exactly.
They would remember being scanned and then put into the Ark.
Yep.
Yeah, but if the Ark is a perfect simulation, couldn't you just like escape the Ark in the Ark? You know,
I think you assimilate yourself to the feeling. Like you guys were talking earlier about how she was talking about the feeling of like suspension. And when she one of the interesting things about Catherine to me was how she described the time passing between when we like hooked her up to power, essentially. And she was saying it just kind of like happens, you know, like she knows that she's in a different location. She knows that she was moved. She knows that time had passed, but it just doesn't exist. So it's just, that's it. She just moves on.
It's not suspension.
I imagine that like falling into a dreamless sleep when you're switched on and off between the power stations. I wonder if it'd be like that.
It definitely could be.
You just don't even notice it. It's just suddenly you're off and then you're somewhere and then you're suddenly somewhere else. Just
I think it's like when we sleep, there's just no dream state, right? It's like you just go to sleep, you wake up, boom. It's just you carry on. That's just life, you know?
Well, it's not even like falling asleep, because when you're falling asleep, there's a bit of haziness on each side when you're half asleep. But this is just an instantaneous.
It's like falling asleep.
You're awake and then you're awake somewhere else.
And
isn't it like frictional games, Amnesia also? Because in Amnesia, he takes this kind of serum, this kind of chemical to forget what was going on, and then he wakes up in a completely different place and with completely different emotions, not knowing what's going on. Isn't it kind of the same? Because she states it's like waking up always in a different place, because she never learns what happens in between.
Yeah, that's kind of right. If you think of it, it's the very same situation. Like the dude from Amnesia, if I remember right, he was also like totally freaked out, and the only thing he had was this note from himself that kind of gave him a mission that was on the one side, just so otherworldly and creepy, and on the other hand, gave him something to focus on, to do a direction that I think Catherine has too, and Simon. Therefore, also, like that one thing that keeps him clearly going through the whole game without going insane over the fact that now he's a robot dude in a dead body with half a head.
Yeah.
But when he gets on the Ark, there's nothing left to do. At least nothing real. You can just ride out the simulation till the heat death of the universe, but there's no connection to the real world. You're just there in the happy simulation all the time.
And there's people about that in the chat too, that if you were designing the Ark, most people probably put robots on the outside so they could, actually experience real life, but also so they could fix the Ark if something went wrong.
I know this isn't mentioned anywhere in the game, but I wonder if there's a way that the people inside the Ark can somehow reprogram or create extensions to the world inside the Ark. So if you're bored of the existing world, maybe you could create new scenarios. I wonder if that would be possible.
That would be heavily limited by hardware, though, because they can't extend the hardware without getting new hardware. So it would be like now I forgot the word for it, but it would be limited. That's it.
So it is actually mentioning whether they should make it like an accurate simulation of real life, or if they should make themselves omnipotent.
It is actually mentioned in the game that at some point in the Ark they would populate it with artificial intelligence that would be not as advanced as the humans can, because it would be kind of naive, like children, but it would kind of create this bit of more of an immersion, which would make life inside it more kind of bearable.
That got brought up in one of the surveys that you run across that you have to answer, and it was the question essentially was, do you think that we should put less intelligent, I'm not quoting exactly, but do you think we should put like less intelligent AIs on board so that you can like develop them like almost in the sense of children, like program in some naivety and stuff like that? What do you guys think? Do you think that does that help humanity, or does that hold humanity back in this kind of scenario? What do you guys think?
Oh man, when I sorry, go ahead.
I would actually like to a bit step out of it and look at it at a greater scale. How much influence do those people have inside the Ark? Are they like digital gods in there? Can Catherine control weather and who lives and who dies and do all kinds of freaky things inside of it? Because she wrote the program, she has all the codes, she has all the access.
That's a good point.
Too, so yeah, whether they should give themselves the ability to recode it or not, but I don't think you're ever given an answer of what they actually did.
No.
The
I
Ark
think
itself
for
might
all
be an
intents
AI
and
axle.
purposes, you have to assume that everybody in the Ark is on an even playing field, and there's only like how many people in the Ark? There's not a lot.
Like
About
60, about
60,
60.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say like 58. I don't know why I'm thinking that
That's
number.
58 exactly. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I remember seeing the number 58.
For Simon and Catherine.
Oh, so
And
it's 60.
the idea is, what if we just created random little AIs that were like, we say like naive. I don't think they would be children. I think it would just be little, I don't know, maybe they would be children just for a visual representation. But do you guys think that would help people, those other 58 people in the Ark? Like, do you think that would help them?
When I was
what are your thoughts?
when I first like read the first survey and that question came up, I was like, oh, no, because the very second I saw that idea of putting in like those inferior existences, beings in there, I was like, at some point that's gonna go very bad,
Right.
and I might like develop a two-level society with the real humans who might be even like eternal gods or not in the Ark, kind of having every of those inferior AIs do what they want them to do or manipulate them in a kind of creepy way already. I was just like, this is not a good idea.
Yeah, I could see them easily becoming like slaves. Like you're just like you're creating these virtual intelligences to do whatever you want them to do. And so like I can see there'd be like some heavy inconsistencies in like economic and social classes that would develop. I guess not economic, because there probably is no like spending, but who knows? I think it's just like you would have like a, I don't know if it's gods, but I think these people would be more similar to slaves than to like followers.
Yeah, like at some point when the normal people kind of lose any sense of purpose, what to do in this world, what to be, what can they make to fill their existence, basically, that would probably come up, because that somehow reminded me, to connect it to another game, to that one, I don't know if you have played it, but that one part in Fallout 3 with that virtual reality vault, where there was this vault overseer that basically had full control over the simulation, over the virtual reality, and after a short time began just messing with people, kind of psychologically torturing them and rerunning simulations. I kind of think it would at some point escalate into such a direction.
Yeah, I could see that.
And we don't know if the AIs they create can kind of develop them any further, because the WoW essentially was an AI, and we all know what happened there. So what tells us that the AIs they create inside the Ark don't just take over the control?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I think it poses more questions than answers, really. Okay, so
also, one more thing I would like to throw in this direction. Simon asks Catherine when they are about to launch the Ark, what will be the first things you do once you are inside there? And Catherine answers not with the first human things. She answers like, look that the systems are all up and running and the thrusters are working. So she obviously can control the space probe from within the Ark.
Right.
So she basically decides what happens to it.
Oh,
and
that's,
if she wants,
yeah, that's
she
a good
could
point.
simply let it crash.
That's a good point.
I have another question that is kind of related to this. That would be a spoiler for Life is Strange. You said that would be okay?
Yeah, so if anybody in the chat has seen or has not watched or has not played Life is Strange, just mute for a couple minutes while Jatank brings up this point, because I think it's going to be an interesting comparison.
I haven't played or watched Life is Strange, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
The question would be why you left Chloe to die on herself, or not die by herself, despite her asking you to kill her, but you killed Lindwall.
Oh, that's a good question, man.
Inconsistencies coming up.
That's a good question. So, I think it's like, the way I would have to explain it from my own perspective would be with Life is Strange. I kind of feel like she was in a place where she wanted she wanted us to kill her because she had kind of given up. Whereas I thought that she still had more in her to keep going. And I think if she wanted to do that on her own, fine, but I don't think that was my place to do it. Whereas with Lindwall, I feel like it's she was almost, the impression that I got was she couldn't even reach over and hit that button. She like literally had no strength. She was just sitting there like a complete vegetable, totally done. All she could do was formulate her thoughts, and she was probably just like trapped in this immobile body that she couldn't handle. And I don't know, I feel like the two circumstances were a little bit different. Like in Life is Strange, she still had tons of like support. Her family was there. All kinds of stuff, like other people were around. In Soma, she was really like, that was it. She was completely alone. She's like, please, like, just, I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. So I don't know. I feel like the decision was a little bit easier in that sense. What do you think?
The way you formulated it, trapped in that motionless body, unable to do anything, just sit there and formulate her thoughts. Yeah. Isn't that exactly what Chloe was experiencing in this situation as well? So I don't think Lindwall and Chloe were so much different at all, or their situations weren't.
Well, I think in Chloe's situation, like, wasn't she under like heavy drugs at the time too? Like she was taking
she was at the time you asked her, but she did say she had asked her parents to do it before and they had refused, so she had been thinking about this for a while.
Yeah, for sure, but I also think that the effects of it was like morphine or something she was on. Am I right?
You didn't give her the morph or like the. No, actually, you're right. Sorry, I goofed here.
Talking, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was on like. I just felt like her choice wasn't as well thought out. Like I just kind of react in the moment, right? And I feel like for Lindwall, this is something that she has clearly been like struggling with. Whereas Chloe was like, "Fuck, this is more like super frustrating," and I don't see how there's going to be any like. I think it was more of a frustration and like being on the drugs and all sorts of stuff that went into it. Whereas with Lindwall, it was like it was the end. You know what I mean? That's just my own justification.
Literally the last person on Earth.
What's that?
I think there's a major difference in both cases. For Chloe, well, the world is still running, and there are ways for paralyzed people to move around and to experience still kind of joy in life.
Yeah.
For Lindwall, there was the apocalypse. There was literally nothing else.
Yeah.
And although Lindwall was not trapped in that body because she could actually move, she reached over to the ARC computer and put the simulation on hold. But still, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I didn't notice that she moved, but now that you say it, yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, she switched. She kind of paused the simulation, which is actually interesting because then the screen pops up and we see simulation day 312. So the simulation with the people inside has been running for almost a year already.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's the thing. Looking at the timeline, it was paused at some point because the impact from the comet was well over a year before the events of the game. I've looked at time; it was about a year and 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't like build the arc before or immediately after the impact though. The idea kind of came up a few months after the impact, I think, when everything was gone.
Yeah.
The idea came up because of the vivarium, because after the impact, WoW started decompensating, and it needed some kind of machine to copy those people, and this vivarium thing appeared. And because of the vivarium, Catherine could copy it with her scan technique. So this is how it went down.
Oh yeah, the Vivarium of Reed. I remember.
Yeah, so basically the WoW started compensating. Thanks to the WoW, they were able to build the Ark in the first place.
That's an interesting discussion because there is already on the Soma subreddit a thread where people discuss about if the WoW is really the bad guy in the game, and I know that there's a Kotaku article about it where the developer said specifically that he did not intend the WoW to be the good guy, but he sees the arguments for it and he finds it kind of interesting that people argue for it and even root for it in parts. So if anyone wants to be know more about the topic, I urge you to Google Kotaku Soma WoW.
Yeah, very cool. Well, guys, I think those were some pretty challenging questions, but good ones. I actually really like the comparison to Life is Strange. It's actually making me question it like a lot, like how I kind of justified those decisions. But yeah, good stuff, guys. I'm gonna have to move on to the next group. But I really appreciate you guys coming on here and presenting some well thought out ideas. If you guys are on Twitter, hit me up. That's like the best way to stay in contact. I'm pretty sure Jatank, you're on there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you know my Twitter handle.
Yeah, for sure. But if you guys are on there, just hit me up on Twitter and introduce yourselves, and then we can talk more about this as we go. But big round of applause from the Twitch guys. For everybody in the chat. Thanks, Taz, Tapan, Rami, Someone, Jatank, Keith, and Patrick. You guys are awesome. And we're going to take a couple minutes here and get the next group in. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Thank you. See you around, man.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
See you later.
Okay, we are back. And we've got a new Skype group ready to go. So I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, and we're going to have a good time. We've got Skipters, Gustavo, Frybox, Robin, Mark Shanahan, the Dungeon Master, and LK Malnassi. How are you guys doing?
We're all right.
Good. Just all right? Come on now.
I'm always all right.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
well, that's
just
good.
basically always all right. It's yeah.
If you guys could,
Middle ground.
feel free to introduce yourselves and tell us where you're from.
All right, who are we gonna start with?
Yeah. I have a weird mic echo.
You might want to mute your Twitch.
Twitch, yeah, I just did that.
All right, I guess I'll start then.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm Fry from the Frybox, fellow YouTuber. We don't really have a viewer base though. I'm from Toronto, so.
Oh, very cool.
This was an exciting intro to the game.
Yeah, I bet.
I was kind of disappointed that St. Patrick's Station wasn't actually green in the game, but.
They tried. They got some of the streets right though. That was cool.
Yeah, I've been to Bloor and Spadina. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
There's a 7-Eleven there. Anyway.
There you go. Okay, Skipters.
Hello, I'm Skipters. I'm from Finland. I've been watching your videos since the Witcher 2 playthrough.
Oh,
kind of
awesome.
been in and out of the channel for a while now.
Very cool, man.
And I've been playing video games since I was like 5 or 4 or something. And, well, yeah, nothing else much.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks for coming. Gustavo.
Hello guys, my name is Gustavo. I'm from Brazil. I've watched your Let's Play of Soma. Was the first one that I watched. Also one of the first ones that ended. Because I had already finished playing and I wanted to know some of the reactions other people would have.
Gotcha.
And the implications of the discussions that would arrive.
Did it differ pretty significantly from your own approach?
Yes, kind of a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, cool. I think we almost mirrored each other's decisions inside the game.
Cool.
Not that it matters, but yeah.
That's cool, though. I'm glad. Frybox, you already went, so thank you very much. Robin. You might still be on mute.
From the East Coast of the US.
Guys?
Oh, yeah, we're
go.
getting connection issues.
Can everybody hear me okay?
You're kind of cutting up quite a bit.
Oh, geez.
That's okay. We'll move on to Mark.
All right. So can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Crap. Okay. So yeah. So merchant. Yeah.
I can't tell if you're. You might be cutting out a little bit. You are for me. That's okay. We can come back to you as well. Dungeon Master.
Oh. Well, I'm Dungeon Master, I guess, but that's just this channel. Oh, whatever. You can call me Riley.
Riley.
I like...
Got it.
R-I-L-Y. I'm a very stickler because my dad's dyslexic, and that's how he spelled my name. And I've been cursed with it ever since.
R-I-L-Y? Is that what it is?
Yes.
I gotcha. Okay.
And I enjoy thought-provoking games. I
Very
thought
cool.
this one was very interesting.
Very cool. Where are you from?
Canada. West
good.
side.
Awesome. Okay, and LKML Nasi.
Yeah, I'm from the Midwest. I actually finished playing Soma before you did.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of weird. Although it was nice to know what happens if you don't do what Ross says, because I kind of wondered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like many of the people on this call seem to be a little anxious and
Yeah?
not really
Oh.
know how to introduce myself.
That's okay. No worries. You guys did great.
But yeah. Oh.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I just wanted to thank you for being really thorough in your document things, because I think you found 2 or 3 things that I didn't, and that they turned out to be kind of important.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
I'm glad. Yeah, I for me, like when I'm playing games, I just enjoy that stuff, because I think that developers, they'll leave like the really important stuff to like things that they make sure everybody sees. But if you really want to fully understand the story and everything that's happening, I think those side documents are really important. So I'm glad that I found some that you didn't get a chance to see and flush things out a little bit more for you. That's cool. So let me ask you guys, I think you were talking about the WoW a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. Did anybody want to pose that question to the group and to Twitch chat?
Yeah, I guess I can, because I kind of teacher's pet jumped on it.
Okay, cool.
But
Cool.
but basically, I actually saw a couple people debating in your YouTube comments about whether it was.
Wait. People debate in YouTube comments? No way.
Yeah, yeah, really. Well, it was without profanity, which was the weird part. But,
Oh, okay.
you know, they were debating on whether it would have. I mean, you didn't kill the WoW because you didn't trust Ross. And by the way, if you even if you do kill the WoW, like he says, he'll immediately turn on you and say, "Well, you're immune to the structure gel, so now I can't let you live." But you know,
Yeah.
he was going to be quick about it. He still gets eaten by the fish, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know. I fully went back afterwards. After I finished the game, I went back and I was like, does this change anything? No, it didn't change anything. So, yeah.
But the question I saw was whether the form of life that the WoW was creating was any less valid than you know, the human existence, because even though a lot of the life forms you saw were in pain or confused or stuck in an endless loop, it seemed to be improving, because
Okay.
Simon seemed to be the most recent iteration, and you know, they fused machine and human parts. He was coherent. So if the WoW had been left alone to its own devices, would that, I mean, you know, and bearing in mind that a lot of the robots you saw seemed to be either happy or just ignorant, you know, is that a more valid existence than humanity, more or less, as opposed to being stuck in the Ark, which, you know, you kind of talked about, how does that kind of society work?
So, just so I understand, I think your question is, how does quote-unquote life under control of the WoW compare to life on the Ark? Is that what you're asking, or
Sort
am I
of.
misinterpreting?
It's well, I mean, I think a lot of us probably did choose to kill the WoW But who's to say that the life it was creating, especially with human consciousnesses, couldn't have evolved into something meaningful? Because
Right, yeah,
remember,
totally.
yeah, because like every time you load a scan, as you find out with Brandon, it's reboot from start. So it doesn't matter if one copy went kind of nuts and tried to murder you.
Yeah.
If it's in a better body, maybe it turns out different.
Yeah.
Then I have a question to impose on all this. Is why did the WoW recreate Ross then? Why did it concentrate all of its resources just to recreate Ross?
Or did it?
Or
It
did
did.
it? Or did it?
We were trying to.
Are we
you
sure?
were trying to figure out. Yeah.
It said it in a log somewhere.
It's
Oh yeah.
explicitly say.
Well, as you can see throughout the entire thing, the WoW pretty much only uses what it has. It is a limited amount of resources. Like, it only has a few human consciousnesses to work with.
Yeah.
So Ross was just that consciousness in
He just
that
happened to
form
be
in that
there?
body.
Is what you're saying?
Or
I guess so.
Maybe he was actually just the first human he tried to repurpose, or the WoW tried to repurpose.
It could be. Let me ask you guys, regarding your WoW decision at the end. Are you guys all in agreement that you guys killed the WoW or whatever at the end?
I think we're split.
Let it live.
Okay,
I
so
killed
some
it
people are
personally.
split. Some
Why
people.
would you
let it
trust
live,
a random spirity dude?
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I would love to hear from the people that were like, "Yeah, I'm killing the WoW, no question. It's just
Well,
happening."
he was an AI technician. He was the one who knew about the WoW.
Okay.
So I trusted in his knowledge. And he kept saying it was infected by a virus.
So you think? Are you saying that for yourself, if something's an AI, there's like no reason not to trust it?
Well, we don't know how the AI thinks.
Exactly.
We can only speculate.
Exactly.
Well, humans are more obvious to us.
In what way?
Well, we always deal with humans. We learn to interpret their emotions, regular old social interactions.
Is it more because of like the like they say? I think I don't know what the exact percentage is, but communication is like 90% nonverbal or something.
Yeah.
So is it kind of like that aspect you're saying?
Well, that and we also have verbal cues as well. You can tell someone's emotion by how they speak.
Yeah.
He seemed to know what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was fairly calm in all his comments. He was a little scary, but I don't know. It's a very debatable question.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't think there was a correct answer to that.
No, for sure. Some people in the chat are saying, one of them is saying, I agreed with your choice not to destroy a new form of consciousness, aka the WoW. I didn't really look at the WoW as like a new form of consciousness.
It
I just
really
didn't.
wasn't.
Yeah, I just didn't kill the WoW because Ross was so adamant that I do it, and I was like, I don't trust this guy one bit. So, yeah, I thought it was like a trap for me.
Well, you lose a hand if you do it, by the way, which makes climbing ladders really annoying.
Yeah, that's true.
I like that part actually.
It is kind of cool.
And would make trying to get back to the other Simon more dangerous.
That's true
with
as well.
Pressure and whatnot.
Yeah. Somebody else, Tactical Bacon, is saying, I killed the
That's a
WoW
great
because Catherine, because Catherine said it's kind of like cancer and cancer is bad. So yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, right?
Yeah, it's not wrong to think like that, but my motivation to keep it alive was that if I keep it alive and he keeps experimenting on human consciousness, he would have a better shot at keeping at least a bit of the knowledge of human existence through the Earth than the Ark will. Because one day the sun will go out, of course, whatever life form on Earth will also die. But I think it's much more likely that the planet will restore itself than that some kind of other life form will find the Ark and somehow interpret the consciousness there are there.
It kind of
that's interesting.
Kind of reminded me.
So I really thought that if I killed the wall, I was killing the real only chance that the humans had.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you make that decision like boom, like right away? You're like, no, I'm not doing it, or did you take some time to reflect and then make your choice?
I actually stopped at the door with Ross ranting at me for not trying to kill it quickly.
Oh yeah.
for a few minutes.
Okay.
Because, yeah, most of them define the WoW life form as disgusting, as weird, but it's experimenting. It's getting better. So why not let it try?
Yeah.
Maybe he can repopulate the Earth with human cyborgs or another life form with the deep sea things that he's experimenting on. So it's like your decision to not kill Simon. I was giving the WoW a chance to keep the knowledge of humans and to grow, because he has a better shot than they are.
I
In my opinion.
have a game comparison to I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Oh, I've never played this.
Oh my god.
It's about a giant AI that's taken over the planet past humans' extinction.
Okay.
And there's only 4
yeah.
humans left on the planet, and he uses them as like toys.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
It's a horrifying short story as
Yeah,
well.
you should check it out. It's very interesting.
I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream?
It's an ancient game.
And it's on Steam, I think.
Okay. I'm
yeah,
gonna check
I think
that
it's
out.
on for cheap as well.
Is it? How long is it?
Not very long at all.
Cool. Okay.
I wanted to say that one of the reasons that I killed the WoW is because it actually did kill pretty much all that was left of existing human life, humanity. If you look at the dates, the time that Herber decides to go down to Alpha because of Ross's instructions. Yeah, that's also the same time that Akers decides he's going to come back.
Right.
And of course, when he came back to bring the WoW and the proxies into Theta, I think. And Ross says that Herber had figured it out, but then the WoW screamed, and he found that audio log from Julia Dahl, I think, about how ever since Ross had come back and the crew had been having these dreams, that was what Herbie was basing all her decisions on. It had begun to, I think, overload their black boxes.
Okay.
And that eventually made everybody's heads explode. So it literally
no big
killed.
Deal.
Yeah, really. Well, it can just put new heads on them.
Yeah, that's true.
But it
probably how they
literally
figured it out.
Yeah.
They can come back.
Yeah, but I know that's how it justified it, but that's a terrible way to. I mean, it makes mathematical sense, which it's a computer, so it would. But that's it's just a terrible way of building a civilization. And in the future, what would happen if one of its new, more balanced life forms decides that it wants to try something the WoW doesn't approve of?
Yeah.
I mean, how viable is that society going to be? If you always have Big Brother WoW, who you can't reason with because it's basically kind of like a nervous system. It doesn't really think. It doesn't really have plans.
Yeah, it's just doing what it's programmed to do.
Yeah,
it's just running scripts.
But
it's interesting. I like the one thing that you're saying about how you just related it to like Big Brother WoW, and I think that's a really interesting comparison. I mean, straight up the Warden unit, but yeah, I hadn't really like put it in those kind of terms, and that does change things a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
But even so, it's better to have that chance that something might spawn from it.
Yeah,
and maybe retake the surface.
Yeah, like I was talking about that
earlier.
It's just a chance. I'm all about like if there's a chance, then you try. Like you don't just shut down the chance that you have at making things work. But the WoW is a tough one, guys. Like it's really tough, and I think that in order to like that last decision that you make where you either kill the WoW or you don't, I actually thought that if I tried to leave, he would like force me to do it. He would like physically grab me and like force me to do it. So I appreciate that we had that quote unquote choice there. But I don't think it's an easy decision. Like I don't think that it's black and white. And I think, to Gustavo's point, if there is a chance, then why would you eliminate that? But at the same time, is like based on what the WoW has been doing, is that a chance you really want to take? So it's really tough. It's tough to answer.
Yeah, but then again, what can the Ark really do? It's just like, it's kind of doomed to float around till the end of existence.
Yeah,
and
I think
really
people are okay
nothing
with that
at all.
I think
kind
people
of
are
a
okay with that.
stagnation, though.
Yeah, but wouldn't people go mad after like 10,000s of years until the sun goes out?
Well, do they have
you
do they
don't
have
know.
any sense of time in there? I agree
I
with
think
the
so.
stagnation.
It's a
I'm just
full
not
like
sure.
it's a full
Yeah, it's a
simulation of
full-
life.
Yeah.
So like you
there's a
have
few
day-night
fact-
cycles, but I don't know if people age.
There are like 60 people in 3 spaces of 28 and 1.5 kilometers for thousands, maybe millions of years.
Yeah.
I think they would be.
I mean, it's
insane by
not
the end
like
of
my
it.
ideal vacation, but
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like if it's that or just die, I mean, I'd probably take that,
Oh, yeah, of course.
right?
Just
Like I'd
the
be like,
wall.
I'll see how that goes. I don't know.
And you can, and on the Ark, you can actually delete yourself. I didn't do this, but apparently in the, they have that survey they have you take again, and if you answer yes, I want to accept death and be deleted from the Ark, you're deleted.
Yeah.
So you at least do have that option. Whereas with the WoW, it doesn't look like any of those people really had a choice. You
Right.
know.
Right.
Yeah, but then it would be meaningless because after a couple thousand of years, people would get like really kind of mad and would start deleting themselves.
Yeah.
Then all the knowledge that the Ark was trying to preserve would be kind of gone.
But they made that choice themselves. It wasn't the Ark for, like artificially creating lungs for them and fusing them to the wall so they couldn't move.
So what
Yeah,
we're
but the
saying,
point of the Ark was not the choice, was just trying to preserve something.
so what we're saying is like a
It's better
pro-life,
to have the choice, of course, but
a pro-life versus pro-choice conundrum.
I mean,
Okay.
essentially,
Yeah.
but like of a fully developed human being for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like it's let me ask you guys, so because this is an interesting topic, and I know we've gone from like the WoW to the Ark, but what do you guys think about the idea where some of them were like they transfer their consciousness into the Ark and then kill themselves?
Yeah, I think that's probably in my mind that's not really going to really do anything.
No,
I
agree.
think it's just kind of like you kill yourself and that's about it. You just cease to exist. I don't get how you would magically transfer your being into there. You just create an exact copy of yourself there and that's it.
Here's my question: is
yeah,
if you
your
were the
perception doesn't change.
if you were the copy, would you kill off your old version?
Well, so we talked about that earlier today with old Simon, right? And the question that got brought up, and I don't want to spend too much time on it because it was something that we heavily discussed, but if the roles were reversed, okay, so you win the quote unquote coin flip that doesn't exist, but you're in the new body. Let's say you were in the old body, okay? Let's say you as a player were in the old body, and then the new body comes up. It's like, you know what? You're pretty much stuck in here, so I'm just gonna kill you. How would you feel? Probably not good.
I would actually legit probably just accept it because I couldn't have a chance of ever getting anywhere if it
I don't
was
know.
actually so.
My other self wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
Well,
I actually have a little bit
my
more
other
faith in
self wouldn't
myself.
do
I
that.
feel like I can get out of there.
So true.
Even if your only option would be to face the monster on the other side of the door, don't you think yourself could probably get away with like getting around that?
That's
Well,
it.
you also have to remember
Well,
Or
there can only
what if
be one.
Yeah, and there's 48 hours until he wakes up, and this is my personal point. What if you went back after everything and Soma, or yes, or what am I saying here? Sorry, I just woke up. I'm late. Version 2 and 3 of yourself, they both meet up after because you have 48 hours. That's a perfect amount of time to climb the lift.
Well, yeah, but you're
it's a
trapped
lot
in there.
more date.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Not
think
It's not like
necessarily.
that's the whole debate, right? Is you're essentially trapped in that room and you let him try to find a way out, which is what I opted to do, or you put him out of his quote unquote misery because he has no way out.
I
Well,
opted.
We saw it. We
sorry.
saw it in sorry. We saw it in your let's play that you can actually climb down there when you accidentally fell sort of down there trying to mess around with that. So you can climb down there and climb back up as the pressure isn't too high after that little airlock segment that you go through when you have the full suit. So technically, Simon V2 can go out that way.
But
safely
that door
away from
is
the box.
only accessible with Catherine and the Omni tool,
Yeah.
which she does not have.
She's not there anymore.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
personally chose to euthanize myself. And
Oh my God, you did.
I did.
You're a
Well,
terrible
here's
person.
here's the thing. It's,
I'm totally kidding, by the way.
here's the thing. It's not someone else making the decision for me. It's me making the decision for me.
But is it?
So yeah, because first that other guy hasn't experienced anything yet. So if
Yeah,
we're
he
going
has.
for the
He's experienced
continuity-
everything in life up until that point.
experienced confusion.
Well, he also experienced one other thing: the surprise of it didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, he thinks
But-
it didn't work. That's the
but-
problem.
But the thing is, as someone who's been informed of the options, if I decide, okay, would I want to be stuck in here with a monster, which, I have an anxiety disorder, and when I was playing Soma, I kind of thought, like, would I want to be stuck in an eternity of Soma, where I'm hiding, where I have to hide from the monster?
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? No, I'm okay.
Yeah, and see, I'm the opposite. Like, even if it
I'm
was
with you
that
there,
bad,
Cos.
where you're in this like terrible world, I would be like, man, but like I just fight. Like you have that survival like instinct
Exactly.
kick in.
Yeah,
That's what I
it's-
think, anyways. If I'm really put in
Yeah.
that situation, I don't know, but that's how I think.
And it's like, so he doesn't know anything about the future, so you got so many options. Like, even if you were just alone, you could at least figure some stuff out about the world after that, because he's still like really blind to everything.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't trust yourself, who can you trust?
Yeah, I mean, you're still you're the same person for all intents and purposes.
But
I will say this was like I was okay with that, but I was not okay with killing the robots like Robin, who seemed to not know what was going on, or the guy who's stuck in a loop, because they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Lindwall wanted to die, but those guys seem fine. So that was not okay. They weren't aware. They couldn't make an informed decision.
Let's go back to Lindwall. I missed that. I don't know if you already discussed that, but what do you guys do?
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, we did talk about that in the previous group. So I prefer to keep the topics new as we progress.
All right, yeah.
If that's okay. But yeah, feel free when the video goes up to go back.
A little bit more, a little bit more open though. What if she's not the only one out there? And she did say something about her being 30 years or almost 30 years old. I don't know if you already discussed that either.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that she was like the last human being, and
all right.
It was pretty exhaustive.
I was gonna say something you missed in the tunnel, which explains why nobody tried to go back to the Ark. Was there was a body that you missed, and if you touch it, you find out that they tried to deliver the Ark again, but the cave collapsed. So, and you can't operate the climber from down in Phi or Tower, whichever it was.
Okay.
So they were all trapped, and even if there was another person with Lindwall, to repopulate the Earth or whatever, they had no way of reaching them.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. And
what is
scary.
the exact timeline that everything takes place over? Like, how many years or months or whatever? Like, how long have they been down there?
Is it a year and 5 months? Someone said.
The entire time underground, or like at the bottom of the ocean?
Yeah. Like, no, since the comet hit, because that's when they would be completely cut off from any other people.
Yeah, it was like a year
that's
and
good
5
question.
months.
Year and a half?
Yeah. Well, if some of the documents you find there are like the mating stats of like all the fish that they kept there for like food supplies and whatnot, and you notice that it goes down after the comet, and then all of a sudden it spikes, which is, I think that's about when the WoW really starts messing with things.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, its definition changes on preserve humanity or whatever it was told to do.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
there's
it's
now
preserving
very
life
limited
in any format.
Exactly.
And its definition of life.
Yeah, and it is dependent on both the structure gel and the energy, because remember they were talking about that rat, the rat that they infused with structure gel, and it would have, without regular reboots, it would stiffen and die. So it's not like unsustainable. They still need energy and the structure gel to live.
I'm curious where structure gel comes from.
Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the magic.
It's the
component
WoW's
of
goo,
Soma.
man. Don't question the WoW.
Like Ferrous
Ew.
something or other that a lot of people seem to feel was fine to eat.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't need eyes anymore. I'm fine. Totally sane.
Well, guys, I want to say you brought up some very interesting points, and I appreciate the work that you guys did coming into the chat. But I'm gonna have to jump over to another group now. I know Minty, you joined a little bit late, but thanks for joining. I'll give you a chance to maybe introduce yourself and tell us where you're from, since we missed you at the beginning.
All right, sounds interesting.
What's that? Sorry.
All right, it sounds interesting. I'm sorry, I kind of passed out. I assumed I'd wake up earlier.
Oh, that's okay. So yeah, just introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Oh, I'm from Canada. I'm in Ontario right now.
Okay.
My name's Aaron. So
Cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
I play lots of games.
Awesome, good stuff. Well, to the Twitch chat, give these guys a round of applause. I think you guys did an exceptional job. Really well done. And if you guys want to stay in touch, hit me up on Twitter. That's like the easiest way to get in touch with me. And I appreciate the points that you guys brought up, and I look forward to talking to you more in the future.
I'm pretty sure the Frybox is one of your followers already.
Oh, cool. Well, that's good. I'll take that.
Oh,
And the skippers.
Can
I know.
point out
I recognize some of you.
Can I point out one little thing before this all ends?
Sure.
Both Simons are actually the bodies that they're using are female.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
thought
really
that was-
men.
I thought
Oh
that was
yeah,
important.
that's true. That's true, man.
In rotting women's bodies.
I
a good
actually
one.
feel like that was some kind of commentary on how it doesn't matter who you are when you play a game, when you can project yourself into that particular avatar. It's just kind of not an issue.
Yeah.
But maybe they just thought that'd be fun. I don't know.
Either way. Well, thanks again, guys, and we're gonna take another quick break, and we'll bring on the last group. Take care, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay, we are back, and as usual, I have to reset up the video for whatever reason, because it doesn't like to keep working, and that's cool. So we've got a few people here, and while I get this video set up, I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. So let's welcome, we've got a big group, guys. It's 13 people. So I'm going to welcome Jake, Anna, Riley, AJ
Christ.
Ferret. If you guys don't mind, there's somebody that I think has speakers running or something.
Yes.
So if
yes,
you can,
we know who that is.
okay, if you could put on headphones, that would be great.
Weird.
Maybe I should wait, check for the.
So we have Ol, we have Dezima, LOL, Wild Coloradan, the Supernovas, Greypaw, Josh Langrish, Quadro, Hedron, and Cruella.
Oh, hello.
Hi, guys.
So can we get it sorted out?
Hello.
Whoever has the speakers running to grab headphones and ensure that the speakers aren't on.
I have mine muted.
I have
Yeah,
headphones
I have my
in.
earphones.
I don't have speakers.
Just ensure that you mute the
Who is
stream as
that?
well.
Christopher, you're having echo in your room.
Nope.
Nope.
Are you sure? Because I'm hearing your echo in your room.
Well,
no.
everybody is echoing.
Yes.
Oh, good. We're
It's
on a
just
month.
because someone has the speakers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Am I echoing right now?
I'm wearing headphones.
No, you're not.
Okay,
Other
good.
guys are okay. I'm just hearing Christopher's echo. I don't know why.
I'm toggling my
I
mic, so
hear-
it's not me.
Double Christopher. It's always good.
I hear everyone in like triple, quadruple, whatever.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, you have a mega wonderful physics in your.
Does everyone have the stream muted?
Oh my god.
Yes, I have stream muted.
Yeah, I just muted the stream.
Stream muted and headphones only.
Oh,
I think we
I
got
can't
it
hear
good
the
to go.
echo anymore, so that's fine. Should be fine.
I just muted the stream too, so.
Yeah, there we go. It sounds much better now.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
also
cool.
a great start.
Yeah, that's okay. It's okay, man. It's like you got a lot of people here. A lot of technical issues can happen. Not a big deal.
Well,
So,
I'm not on the stream because stream doesn't work at all.
oh, that's
so-
not good. So I'm gonna ask you guys to introduce yourselves and tell us where you're from. We're gonna start with Jake. Go ahead.
I'm from the East Coast, and I was the one who tweeted you about the Bloodborne doll all the time.
Oh yeah, I remember. I know your name.
I made a Twitter for you, ChristopherOdd.
Oh, thanks, man. That's awesome.
And a Twitch. And a YouTube.
Oh my god, that's a lot of things.
Oh my god.
Well, thank you for coming. Anna, you are next.
Chris, I need to go home. My mother's really ill. Sorry, I will be back.
Okay,
It
no
will be
problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Good luck.
You guys talk. I will be probably last.
Good luck. Bye bye.
Okay, I'm Anna and I'm
See ya.
from the East Coast as well.
Okay. Yeah, is this East Coast like America or?
Yeah, like New York State, not the
Okay.
city.
Yeah, me as well.
Very cool. Very cool. And next up we have Riley.
Hi, yeah, I'm Riley. I'm from the West Coast, California. I got
Okay.
into your YouTube by I wanted a better BioShock Let's Play to watch because everyone kept missing stuff and it was driving me crazy. And yours was the only one that actually was super thorough, so I loved it.
Oh, cool. I always think it's interesting when people say that because whenever I do miss something, like people like to let me know that. So I'm glad when it works out in the opposite way. That's nice. AJ.
Yeah, I'm Austin. I'm an amateur science fiction writer from Texas.
Oh, cool.
I actually found out about your channel through the Soma playthrough. Specifically, I had some friends who'd read some of my half-written stories that said, hey, you should check out Soma. It's got brain uploading and AIs and stuff that you write about. And I'm like, I'm not really into horror games. It's like, just watch Let's Play. Okay, who's got the best Let's Play out there? ChristopherOdd. All right, I'll check him out. And that's ultimately why I'm here, because of your stuff you said in the last video.
Oh, very cool, man. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing your insights. As a science fiction writer, that's pretty unique. Ol, and I'm probably saying this way wrong. Is it Ol or Ol?
It's Olle.
Olle.
Jag kan säga Olaf too.
Okay, Olaf. Can I stick with that?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay.
I'm from Sweden, and currently I'm a game development student at Stockholm University.
Very cool.
And I've been watching this channel for, I don't know, maybe like the second XCOM playthrough, I think, for Enemy Within. So that's where I came from, but also I'm really interested in like very narrative and story-driven games. So
Awesome, man. Well, then we have a lot in common. I like it. Dezema.
Hello.
Hi.
What should I start with? I'm from Latvia. I got to know your videos from the Soma Let's Play. I really wanted to see the ending of the game. I didn't want to buy the game already. And there were none other YouTubers that had done the game.
Very cool. Well, thanks for checking it out.
Also-
Next up, we have a Twitch regular. It's LOL from the chat.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm fine, drinking my wine as always. Yeah. Hi, I'm LOL or LOL, as I don't know how do you pronounce my nickname to be honest. And I'm from Poland, so hello everybody.
Very cool. Go say hi to the CD Projekt Red guys for me.
I will try. I don't know. They haven't contacted me in so many years, you know.
But just go knock on their door.
Well, maybe tomorrow when they are open.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, next up we have a wild Coloradan.
Hi, I'm Christy. I'm obviously from Colorado, and
But I noticed that there's a Chicago Blackhawks jersey.
Okay, so I'm into hockey, and the Colorado team sucks, so I had to find a good one.
Okay, fair enough.
But I got into your Soma Let's Plays because I was tired of watching people scream and run away from acres and ruining my ears.
Oh god. Well, I'll take that. Thanks. Next up we have the Supernovus. Just a reminder, guys, if you have the stream running or if you have speakers on, to mute the speakers or to use headphones, that would be great. Supernovus.
Hey, Christopher. I actually joined as well. Came across the channel because I saw another streamer playing Soma.
Okay.
So I figured I'd join in. And so after you put out the first 2 videos, I really started enjoying the whole concept of the game and followed it basically within an hour of posting a video.
Oh, very cool. Awesome. I'm glad, man. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. Greypaw, the wolf. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. I'm actually from Germany and have been around for around 3 years.
Yeah, I recognize the
days.
name. Yeah.
Wrote some emails back then.
For sure.
And since then, I basically watched all the XCOM stuff, basically like through 60% of everything you've created, and I enjoyed it really.
Awesome, man.
So thanks for having me here today.
Hey, well, thanks for sticking around for so long. I appreciate that. That's really cool. Josh, how are you?
I'm pretty good, yeah.
Hello.
I'm from England.
Okay.
From the south coast, in a place called Southampton.
Cool.
And I've been watching you since Half-Life 1, really.
Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, I recognize the Groucho part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've actually got a degree in philosophy. So.
Oh, cool.
There's loads of philosophical references in the game, which I really.
So this game is
really
like right up your alley, then.
Big time.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. Quadrohedron.
Yep. Hi guys, I'm Oleg. I'm from Russia. Currently an undergraduate physics student in Manchester, in the UK. And I've been subscribed to Chris for certain time, but but it's just the Soma that got me so well because of your thoughtful and accurate playthrough, and you were picking up some very thoughtful and deep topics, and that really got me. So that was pretty awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. And last but not least, we have Emmanuel. I heard you earlier.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good, good. So you want to introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from.
Yeah, I'm from Sweden.
Okay.
Stockholm. And I've been a subscriber for 2 years now, I think, almost.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. That's awesome. So I know we have we kind of combined 2 groups here at the last minute. So thank you guys for being super cool, super flexible.
No problem.
I imagine some of you guys have some specific questions that you wanted to ask, but I'll just open it to the group. Where did you guys want to start?
How about Catherine? I really want to talk about Catherine.
Okay,
I agree.
Cool. Yeah. What about?
Okay,
let's start with Catherine.
About Catherine. Sequel to Kevin, obviously.
I guess we
What do you
talked
think
about.
happens to Catherine when she gets destroyed in the end?
Yeah, I was
think
kind
that
of
was-
wondering about that.
She doesn't get destroyed. She got copied, I think, to the Ark. So
Yeah, but she has
No, but the
to,
Omni tool
she has
crashed.
yes, the Omni tool crashed, and she may have been
Oh,
copied
yeah.
onto her Ark, but her original programmable self was still on the Omni tool.
Okay,
she's
this-
in a
Similar to
permanent
how
coma
like
then.
similar to how there was a
So-
copy of Simon left behind, and there was a copy of Catherine, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just
Exactly.
making a copy.
I actually have a theory of what happened there, and it
Yeah,
kind
go
of
ahead.
goes into what was happening before during all the suicides. I think because if you read it, it reads as program error or malfunction, almost like a virus. I think it was basically she crashed her own system, her own way of committing suicide. She's got so much stuff on her shoulders in the first place. Her colleagues killed her.
It's interesting.
And
It did remind me of
it-
GLaDOS.
the last person that she was there with basically hated her guts because Simon basically said, "I fucking hate you," and immediately she just
Because, I mean, if you think about Catherine, the only one she really had left was Simon, and he was with her through the whole way to suspend the Ark into space.
Yeah.
And then he just turns on her immediately, so it probably broke her heart. So,
Yeah, that was one of
But-
the few times she actually showed like emotion, because like she was always like super logical. The only
yes,
time
she
like
didn't show any emotion, and that's
yeah,
what's
the only
quite
time I saw her
upsetting.
like show emotion was with Imogen Reed. That like she oh she was nice to me. She was my like blah 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 blah. And then the fact that her colleagues killed her, she was so upset about that.
to me, it's the theory of kind of like Spock. There's no need for emotions there because you're there for a purpose. So
Yeah.
as long as you get your
interesting.
purpose
Yeah.
done, then you
Could I,
don't have to worry about emotions. So, I mean, it's not even necessary.
That's the
That's
first time I've
actually a
heard
good
somebody bring
point.
that up. That's actually
I
pretty
don't.
unique.
I'd like to
I
bring
think that
up.
scene. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to bring up a theory I've heard in multiple places about Catherine that, and I'll add why I think that this is actually pretty viable. But I've seen a theory that she's actually on the autism spectrum.
Oh,
okay.
I agree with that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
kind of think, yeah, because
I can see that.
she feels like really uncomfortable around people, and like people kind of think she's weird, but I think that she's autistic, just like mild autistic.
Yeah, high functioning autism.
Yeah,
I
high
think.
Or what would
I
otherwise be called
think.
Asperger's disorder until pretty recently.
Ooh,
I
or
think.
Asperger's, yeah.
I think Catherine is like, okay, I need to get this arc launched and I need to do this now. So she doesn't have time. She doesn't have time to like bother about emotions and other stuff. She's like, I need to get this stuff done right now. And Simon is like her hands and her body. She can't do anything manually. So she needs Simon to do things so she can't get too over emotional so that her emotions don't stop Simon from doing the things she wants to do.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, the only time Simon was really hesitant about the whole thing with Catherine was when he found Catherine's body and when Ross told him to not do it.
Well, what's the point of emotion? Because emotions is based on like an interaction between two people. Well, Catherine is literally living in a dark box that gets plugged in every now and then in a new place. And all she's probably reading is code at this point. Like,
didn't she say herself that she's like floating in something in some place? Like I think she said that I'm floating.
She was describing the feeling of like being
in the
just
computer,
in technology, essentially, of being a feeling of suspension. But I still think it's important to note that she was a human being. She wasn't like, she has emotions. She knows what emotions feel like. So I think that would still copy over at this point. But
Well, you couldn't tell the difference between the two of them. Like, you know, like the Turing test of finding out whether it's true AI or not is whether you can't discern whether or not it is a human or a thing that's perfectly replicating a human.
Well,
guys,
the difference between Catherine's personality as a human and as a robot really makes sense because of the environment she was based in.
Yeah, nature versus nurture, that's true.
Exactly. Because human Catherine was around so many people and it made her uncomfortable and they hated her so much. So she really just kind of gained the ability to work by herself and everything. And then when Simon came in, she was just a happier person because she could depend on somebody and depend on other people to help her out.
But also,
she
wasn't. Go on, no, you go ahead.
she had to depend on Simon. She didn't have any other choice.
Yeah.
Well,
she
guys,
really didn't have any other choice.
Oh God. Guys, just let me make one significant point. Human emotions are based on hormones, a hormonal system in the organism. It is something to do with the brain activity, but it is based mostly on hormones. We do not have hormones in cyborgs, in robots. So how
do you know
they...
that? How do you know
not
that?
Sure.
I'd like to make another comment about emotions from the autism angle, because what I was going to say about the... I feel comfortable saying this because I'm actually doing this under a pseudonym, but I actually have been diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum. And emotions, when you're autistic, are very binary, and you either feel very strongly or you don't feel strongly at all. And for stuff where you don't feel strongly at all, it's hard to make decisions. And whereas you start getting really obsessed with things that you do feel strongly about, which, and this, you know, it's possible that this sort of, you know, it's based off of a different way of pattern of brain activity, essentially. And this might be part of the reason why she adapted so well to being stuck in an Omni tool, whereas other people who are stuck in a robot just are completely delusional, still think they're in their old bodies.
Yeah.
I think
she
I think
understood
I could see that.
That's very interesting.
I think the WoW was actually in a way like more human than Catherine was, because like when Catherine like knew that like all these people were killing themselves because of her, she just like totally shifted the blame and was like, well, it's not my fault, it's not my fault. Like she didn't really care that much. But like
I disagree entirely.
Yeah, I disagree too.
The WoW is very inhuman. It's one of the best depictions I've ever seen of a completely non-human intelligence in any
non-sentient virus almost.
I don't think it's non-sentient. I think it's sentient, but in a completely different way from a human being or any other creature on this planet.
That's interesting.
Intelligent, but not self-aware.
One thing I wanna bring up is how much she, like, why did she value the ARC project so much? Was it something in her life triggered it, or?
It was the belief that all of humanity is gonna leave the planet soon, and it was
She
the
had
only
something
way
like
she
Asperger's,
sees.
though. It could have been something she was fixated on. I have a cousin with Asperger's. He gets fixated on things very easily.
Yeah.
Something she was stuck on.
Is she could have Asperger's syndrome too, but if you think about it, something that she had an idea of and just wanted to pursue as a creative process, and then suddenly it's made as an actual project, I would be focusing on only that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was her life project, and that was what she based her time on the whatever it's called, Omicron on.
Yeah.
Pathos. Yeah, Pathos.
I think if we I think Catherine kind of removed focus from like trying to save humanity. She more just wanted to leave something of value. So I think our ARC project isn't really like the savior. Like I saw some arguments going that the satellite will be destroyed in like 100 years or something because they become meteorites or something. But I don't think that was the point of the project. It was more to prolong and like try to keep just something left. It's not really like a solution. It was more of a
they should have checked for more survivors.
Yeah, that's another thing we were discussing. Like,
they should have checked for more survivors.
Well, they didn't have the resources to look for more survivors.
That's true, but I mean, if you think about it, comets break up in the Earth's atmosphere, so not all of the continents or islands or everything are going to be hit.
Yeah.
Not everything's going to be destroyed. So, and I mean, the image showed it was all covered up by clouds and there was some fire, but you can't guarantee that everything is personally destroyed.
I noticed
and like people for 100% like they lived through it for by taking some measures or by hiding. So I think that there were some people alive.
Wasn't something someone else
surface.
mentioned that the same thing happened to the dinosaurs, but it was over a period of 1 million years, likely?
Yeah, that was.
And this has only been it's only been a year here.
Yeah, the comet hit, and then the climate changed, and then all the dinosaurs died.
Like, there's no way that the climate's going to change and everything's going to be fire in a year.
The fish were alive, so there was something there.
Yeah, there were fish alive, and the water's not
enough.
contaminated. So
Yeah, my question is, how did they get that deep into the ocean if they didn't know the comet is going? Like, how didn't they know the comet is going to hit them? Like, they should have known. For
I think they
years.
did.
They did, and they tried to stop it, but it didn't work.
Yeah, NASA just screwed up their deflect the comet plan, basically.
No Bruce Willis.
I mean, where was Bruce Willis then?
Shoot all the explosives at it.
He should go into the space and shoot the hell out of this comet, like.
And Morgan Freeman
That's his
was
job.
president, obviously.
They can make robots. Why not send a robot?
But I guess
It's a bird. It's a plane. Oh shit! Wait, no, never mind. It's a comet.
Here's something I'd like to talk about. What if this isn't What if this isn't the first time Simon has woken up in a robot body? Because if he gets copied every single time, he's going to wake up thinking it's the first time that's ever happened to him.
So I actually, Jake, if you guys don't mind, I have something that might lead into that. I think,
go ahead.
So Arkham Knight brought up a question in the Twitch chat during the last group discussion, and he asked, "What is the significance of the opening scene with Ashley?" Because there's a very important note that that we make at the end of that scene where we say there's never enough time. You guys remember that?
He's having a recurring dream.
Yes. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
So what is the significance of that, and does that play in at all to what you were just discussing?
Well, he
I think
could
that
maybe be in the the hard drive, or what do you want to call it, and then every time he's about to have like a nice memory, he gets copied into the robot, and that's why he keeps getting interrupted.
And when we are talking about the beginning scene, I'd like to point out the ending when you once died, Christoph. There was this flashback of all memories, and some things occurred in the intro, some things occurred while we were at Pathos, but there were some pictures that we noticed encountered in the actual game. So was this something that this Simon came across, or was this something another Simon came across? Maybe because
I think memory is a
Maybe
huge
that's
thing in the
why
game.
Catherine was so unemotional with us, because she knew us before, and she knew that if she did things this and that, we wouldn't comply with what she wanted us to do. So that's why she was like so focused on the arc, because that wasn't the first time that she was talking to us.
Yeah, but you're also talking about, is she good or bad for doing that?
I mean,
she's manipulative.
In a manipulative way, and I mean, if you really think about it, Catherine did in fact say that her and Simon were former colleagues, so she knew Simon to an extent. So
No, Simon was just a template before these events happened.
Yeah, I thought that Simon was just a template.
Which is interesting because there's 3 other templates.
But
and,
how do you know? Catherine said it, and how do you know she was lying?
I wonder what they meant by template exactly.
Well, I think in some situations you have to we can't. I think if you take the assumption that everybody's lying all the time, then there could be like infinite possibilities.
It's always lupus. It's always lupus.
Yeah.
I mean, she said that Simon was a template, but she was the one scanning people and everything, so she had to have known Simon at least a little bit before. So she's not going to tell Simon on what he was like before, in the possibility that Simon's going to turn on her and turn on everything that she's thought about. She wants it done. She's going to use everything she can use.
I think Simon
Simon Simon.
Yeah,
what if Simon
was
a what's it called? You know, you had to do that part, and you had to convince the guy that he was in a normal scenario, so he could give you the security codes.
Oh, right.
What if Simon was the same thing? I can't think of the word right now. I'm drawing a blank.
Simulation.
Simulation.
Something else I wanted to mention about the way I see this consciousness split is like a child of the original. Like, I see it kind of like as that, because it's like a part of the original, but it's not the same exactly.
Well, it's
yeah,
like
I see it
the
like
original. It's
it
just a
reminds me
copy.
of like when cells divide, they're like identical.
Mitosis. The cells can be identical. Think of it in the way of identical twins. Being a twin, I really understand this, because both of them can have the same DNA and look exactly alike, but they're never gonna grow up the same unless they're completely separate.
But the reason behind this is that they get different sensoric sets of information, and so the affection of the surroundings on them is different.
Yeah,
so
whereas in this case, when you have a
change.
copy, you are literally the exact same up until that point. And then it's
Talking
just
about what you were
everything.
talking about. Remember in the chat you were talking about the tennis match between 2 identical. Yeah.
I just got reminded of the rather horrifying bit of fridge logic I had, which I mentioned in the Group 5 chat earlier, but there's a bunch of Simons that died that we never saw.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, Simon went in to go get his brain scanned.
Yep.
And then his brain was going to be running short-term simulations to test out the effects of different treatments on his brain. Which,
exactly.
accelerated, which means that effectively for like thousands of Simons, they sat down. Their perspective was they sat down in the chair, essentially had a seizure, and then died because because they shut down the simulation. And the game just basically glosses over that entirely. It's not.
It's not because it's consciousness transferred. It's because the game needs the audience to see the interesting perspective, Simon. So the game could have just as easily been he has a brain scan, he wakes up, he lives his normal life, and then he dies later on in the hospital. But we don't see that.
Hearing what happened in the hospital was so interesting.
It as being a thing. Simon doesn't have a realization of, oh shit, a bunch of me's died in a really terrifying way, and I basically copied myself and murdered myself who knows how many times just to try to cure myself of my brain damage, which didn't work out in the end. I mean, I can see why they didn't go this way because it basically makes the story too complicated, but it's really creepy when you think about it.
Speaking
very
of brains,
Bioshock Infinity.
This whole game is so creepy. Like,
Well,
it
I think the
ticks
creepiest part of this
all
game
the
is
boxes in my
the
loop
moments.
list.
The difference between a lot of horror games in this game is Soma's basis of fear is a deep psychological sci-fi fear, not jump scares and horror. It's trying to get you.
Oh, it's a very different vibe for sure.
Yeah, I actually found the parts where where Odd's getting stalked through hallways by some proxy or another. Those were the parts of the game that were completely boring, and I usually
I did
I
not
to
really.
another tab.
It was repetitive. Once you learned how to do it, it was very easy to get around. I think the whole, like the very first robot you see that goes to kill you, like an hour into the game or so, that was just to kind of introduce this scary part of the game that was made out to be. But once you really got into the storyline and all, it became more not as much of a horror game as a psychological thriller. As in, everything that happened really had you question everything that you made in the past. And you can even see by watching the streams, you have to start asking in the future, well, what's gonna happen because of this?
Yeah.
Everything
I actually
adds
thought that the
onto
most
itself.
unsettling thing, the most unsettling moment for me was the bit where you were going to enter, I forgot which building it was, but there was a robot that was stuck on the floor and thought that she was in the ark.
Human.
And that was Simon couldn't do anything except reassure her that she was in the ark so she's just going to be left on the ocean floor. I thought that was just really unsettling.
If you think about it, the only time that the robots knew that they were robots was, if you remember Carl, he said, "Oh, I'm human," because he had never been told by anyone, "Hey, you're a robot." He'd never been able to look at his reflection or anything. So
I wonder what would have happened if he looked in the mirror.
From that,
Well, actually, to answer that, I think if he would have looked in the mirror, he would have seen his past self. Because it wasn't until the whole water scene where the thing collapsed where because before that he had human hands. Before that he was in normal clothing. Even in the simulation, they're seeing what was programmed in the scan.
See what they want to see, what they are programmed to see.
Yeah, that's just a massive, very massive illusion.
This is something that Kate even mentioned, I think, because she, in one dialogue she mentions that the robots will still receive their environment visually and from what I hear, like they were still human, and they will lose breath if they run and so on. So they are processing everything still as if they were human. So just to see themselves as human is the logical consequence.
It's
the brain. It's the brain. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
How did Imogen Reed end up being Simon's body? Like, that was never really explained.
Yeah, that's something I've been wondering a lot. How did she end up in that?
Catherine said at one point, "Perfect mind, perfect body." So you gotta think that Imogen was in perfect health and everything, and because Simon's brain was in perfect, like Simon's. Everything was a template, like the perfect template. Why wouldn't you mix them together, make a perfect person?
I'll add in a thing here. I think there was a theory that the WoW is kind of like biding its time. and tries to create the perfect, like, yeah, he created Simon too, which was
I
kind
have
of
a
like the
slightly
perfect.
different perspective.
Oh yeah,
So-
like
But
Robin
if
and
Simon
Carl were
was
like all the time.
perfect and all.
I think the WoW was slowly learning from its really alien perspective what it means to be human, and it's experimenting to try to better preserve humanity. And
Oh yeah, I think
also
if it had just been left alone, it
realize
would have
that
eventually created humanity again.
At one point, one of the scientists had written down in one of her letters that there was another scientist that was responsible for taking care of the WoW, you know, and all this stuff, and then they died, and the WoW went nuts. So at that point, you got to think the scientist was like a motherly figure to it, and because they were a human, the WoW was adapting to become like the mother.
Oh yeah, that was Ross.
That's
Which
interesting.
also, what was Ross? Like, does anyone know what even happened with Ross?
Ross is the part of the
Ross
game.
every
I
time
cannot wrap my head around.
It was
every
attacked
time I
by jellyfish.
He had a body.
every time I hear the Ross name, I think about the Incredible Hulk and about how General Ross was trying to catch Bruce Banner, and this is just.
Was he like a virus or something? He was like
in
hacking
Anna's
into the computer.
list.
Like
in
I said,
Anna's
he had a body
list,
because he got eaten.
There's a bullet point saying, what is he? Hooked into the WoW and hacking computers to get you, an entity, a robot, or a virus. So really, we don't know what Ross is, but all we know is that, like, Ross is the perfect enemy.
And
He
how he is
influenced
contacting
the
Simon because
humans
Simon
too.
You mean Ross is
saw
perfect enemy
him and
against
heard
WoW?
him.
He influenced
So
the humans too. Like he influenced Lindwall to go to the Abyss. He was trying to like get them to kill the WoW or whatever. But like my question is how did he even be able to influence the humans if he was like a virus or whatever? Like how would he be able to get into their heads?
Well, he was a
The
person.
black
We know
box,
that because we came
all
across his
they
body.
had, they all had the black box inside their heads, so maybe through that, maybe the black boxes had some, I don't know, Bluetooth that he hacked. I don't know.
He almost
he obviously hacked.
I hope that we've gotten past Bluetooth in 2104.
How do you know?
I really hope
Black
so.
boxes are just monitors.
Oddly enough,
The black
I
boxes are
trusted
just like,
Ross.
aren't they just
I
essentially
see what you did
biomonitors?
there.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I trusted Ross more than I trusted Catherine.
Oddly.
Really?
But when bringing in the black boxes, when I think about a section where there were all the beheaded persons,
exactly,
maybe maybe someone was trying, for example, Ross was trying to influence them, and they were resisting it, and so he was trying to make them basically into the same things, robots, as Simon. So maybe they were up to be mixed up with the robot or something like that.
Did you talk about the Sarang tape yet? You know that tape that was you put it in 2 videos because it was really important. Where he talked about continuity. Was it Sarang? Remember that tape?
Yeah, we did not talk about that.
Right. Yeah, because it reminded me of. So like in philosophy, we learned about this thing called essentialism, which is about. So the analogy to explain it is the ship of Theseus. I swear I saw a Theseus reference in it. Anyway, it's imagining that there's a ship that goes on an adventure. You know, people on the ship, they go on an adventure in Greece, and they go through many battles and whatever. And it's a famous ship. They bring it back, and over the years, though, it deteriorates, and they have to replace planks of wood with new planks of wood, and it gets to a point where the ship is kind of no longer the original ship in the sense that there's more new parts than old parts.
Yeah,
so where is the ship of Theseus, right? And it's related to, you know, when Simon gets put into that new body, you're asking yourself, so where is, you know, where is the new Simon? Where's the old Simon?
Well, the question there is, because this goes back to the question, what makes you you? Is it the body or is it the mind? Because the mind is still 100% the same at that point. The only thing different is what encapsulates the mind.
So yeah, so basically the
so it really depends on what you decide.
Yeah,
being
exactly. You got it right.
is.
So we got told that the answer is there is no ship of Theseus. It's basically you point at something that's got wooden stuff, and you go, "We are going to call that the ship of Theseus," or like there's no actual ship of Theseusness endowed in the wood. Do you know what I mean? That it's just a collection of things. It's a bit like there was at my university, our teacher, a philosophy teacher, showed us this sweatshirt, and he invited one of us to wear it, and we were like, we obviously had no problem with doing that. But then he told us that it was once owned by a mass murderer. Right?
Oh, shit.
Somebody said on Twitch.
That's wow.
Somebody said on
Right.
Twitch, which I really wanted to kind of pull up, was Ross says the WoW shrieked, they all died. The WoW killed people at Omicron through their black boxes, and
That is true.
the WoW really, if you think about it, the WoW kind of controlled everybody.
It
at
does.
that point.
It did.
But
I
if
don't
the
mean
WoW
to.
was
I don't
there
mean to interject too hard here, but I want to hear the ending about the sweatshirt example.
He said, this was once owned and worn by a mass murderer. Does anybody want to wear it? And nobody wanted to wear it. And he would point out, look, this has been dry cleaned like 30 times. This is washed. There's no mass murderer in this shirt, in this sweatshirt. Do you want to wear it? But people still felt as though there was, do you know what I mean? By like association, there was some,
Right, yeah.
It was tainted somehow, even though it physically wasn't. It was in no way, there was no mass murderer in the fabric.
Yeah, that's interesting though.
Well, there's no reasoning.
How do you know there was no mass murderer?
Yeah,
I'd wear it. It's a free sweatshirt.
There's no reasoning
but
behind
I'd
that.
totally keep that shirt if someone was
Where
going to give it to you.
the mass murderer wouldn't tell you he was a mass murderer, so how do you know he wasn't a mass murderer?
Murderception.
Yes.
It'd be pretty cool. Like, hey guys, look at my sweatshirt. A mass murderer wore this. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit like,
that's
'cause
cool.
in America, I know in America they have this is an important issue.
Oh, God.
Because,
Can I mention the theory I mentioned before?
Oh, go
In
on.
the chat.
No, can't.
Like, well, halfway through the game, I misinterpreted. I thought the whole game was inside of a brain scan, and so I thought like all the places represented stuff. Like I thought the stations were the parts of the brain. I thought the ocean was the liquid the brain's suspended in.
Okay, fair.
I thought the comet was the brain injury.
You see, I refuse to not believe that until like the last.
I don't know. The game
really
seemed to
scary when
disprove
you
it,
say
but that's what I thought at first.
I remember there were so many comments in the first video saying, calling it right now, this is all just like part of the simulation.
Dream.
And then you come out and you're like, oh, you're back in the office, no big deal. Which is, I think, what.
It's you at the end.
Yeah, I think they wanted you to think that.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody said, and I can't remember who, that leaving your apartment in Toronto to go get your brain scan was Simon going to get his brain scan for the first time and then dying and then becoming a robot. I can't remember who said that, but
no.
Yeah.
So
it was basically the consciousness from that session waking up.
You know that?
Yeah.
I figured that Simon was a robot by the end of the first episode.
Who was it that said that they would take their own life if they were in that situation? If they woke up as the robot, completely.
I think there were
confused?
several of us that debated.
There's a lot of
I
people.
think I said something like that. That
'Cause
instead of choosing to kill the original, why not just kill the copy and try something else? I guess.
I would not kill the copy because being a twin that has someone that looks exactly like me, if it was me in that situation, I wouldn't do it.
I
don't know.
I would want my
No,
copy.
I would. He didn't have an Omni tool. How he was going to get out?
Yeah.
He was the only one with the Omni
Yeah,
tool.
he
Yes.
was
There's no
physically
opportunity,
Rod,
no
sealed
hope.
in this
Brought up a lot of
chamber with
controversy, huh?
danger on the other side.
There's just
So
so
that
many
sucks.
pros and cons of the situation that you just don't know until
See,
you're
I think it's
in the
all personal.
situation.
Okay, there's something about this game that I think makes for a very good thought. I don't think the WoW is good or bad. And
Yeah.
everybody
Oh, yeah.
talks about the monsters as if they're negative. The monsters don't really have a sense of wanting to kill you. The reason
agree and
They're
disagree
just
there.
like
it's
corrupted.
they're
Always
basically
100%
an
of your
electrical
mercs.
circuit,
They're
and when they
literally,
get
like,
close to
mentally
you,
ill
it's like
people or
taking two
something.
speakers and putting two speakers right in front of each other that they cause interference between each other, and neither one of them work. And
It
that's
doesn't
why
stop them
every
from what they're doing being evil.
Well, but it does make them leave.
Right.
You can only, or you can have. this is how I think of it. They get too close that both of you guys actually have an issue. Both of you start
What
breaking
exactly
down.
were the monsters trying to do by chasing you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I.
They wanted a hug.
Why,
They wanted a
why
hug.
would they want to kill him?
Especially that
Everyone
first.
wanted a hug. This last hope.
The WoW has no rhyme or reason other than to carry out a function is what the game makes the WoW out to. So
yeah,
the only thing that these creatures or this WoW invention is doing is basically analyzing new information coming its way. No reason whatsoever. It's just, hey, that's new. Let's go check it out.
Let's
Well,
go
the
kill this thing.
I think the WoW can think because it can definitely plan. It did things with the structure gel that the designers of the gel didn't even think was possible.
It can evolve, but I don't think evolution and thinking is the same thing because people can accidentally evolve. But thinking takes like an entire background of processes before it can progress.
Can I say something because it's fresh in my head and I don't want to forget it? Do you remember when we can return to this obviously? But remember the bit where you get Chris where you went on a computer and it listed all the variants of robot that were around, including the Cape bot that you murdered monster. One of them was.
I'm sorry.
One of them was called Qualia.
You're not sorry enough.
Yeah, there was one that we like never ran into, right?
The thing that was called Qualia, that's actually a philosophy of mind reference.
Okay.
Because Qualia means that that thing that you said yesterday on the 100k subscriber video, where you said about this pen is blue, right?
Yeah.
About what that's
like
called
if we
qualia.
perceive things the same way other people perceive them.
That's called qualia, which is what feelings feel like, and whether your feelings are the same as mine. Like your sensation of pain I don't know, but could feel like the sensation of eating garlic to me, for example.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But when there's no way of comparing.
That's
but
it.
There was this thing called Mary in the Black and White Room, which proved that there is something objective, that subjectivity can be objective, which is if you get a person who can only see black and white or shades of black and white, can't see color, and you get a person that obviously can see color, and you get 10 boxes that are different colors, but to the person that can only see black and white, it's all the same tone of grey, right? What you do is you put an item into one of the boxes in front of the woman that can only see in black and white. You take the boxes out of the room, rearrange them, put them back, and you ask both of them, the person that can see color and the person that can see black and white, where is the item? Like which box has got the item in it? The person that will see color knows exactly it's like the red one, but the person with black and white doesn't know because they're all grey. Which means that despite the fact that they saw the same thing, one of them is definitely experiencing something else.
Right.
So it makes color objective in some way.
Right.
Boom.
Decisions.
Boom.
I'd never heard of that before. I'd heard of all kinds of stuff about quality, but I never knew someone had actually devised an experiment to measure
It's
it.
called look it up. It's called Mary in the Black and White Room.
Mary in the Black and White Room?
Yeah.
Oh, I have that. Movie.
Chris is having.
Yeah, it's called Qualia, which is what feelings feel like. That's the name of it. So that was a reference.
The magical notebook.
Lots of notes, guys. It's insane. I've got like just a whole bunch just from this conversation alone. It's been great.
We did a pre-set.
No, it's good. I do have to interject, guys, and I'm really sorry, but I have a couple things that I need to take care of today. So I have to end the chat. This group in particular, I feel like you guys could probably call each other and chat for another 8 hours or so.
It was
great.
Oh, sure. We got across everything we wanted.
I would encourage you guys to do it.
2.5 hours.
I would encourage you guys to do it.
Want to know
I can't talk anymore about this game
think
because
about the arc.
every time I think about that cape bot, it just makes me weep.
Oh, I know.
I thought you knew. Like,
I really
you know the K9 the robot? I thought it was a reference to that.
Yeah.
K8 and K9, no?
No, I thought so too, but I don't think so.
Every time I see K8, I think K9.
I just wish I'd gotten more of a chance to talk about the WoW, because I could just talk about the WoW for hours.
I hear you guys.
I want to talk for hours about the Ark, because Ark, like, can you hack the Ark? Does the Ark has, like, I don't know, antivirus?
Yeah.
I don't know. What is the arc?
I know.
There are no viruses for the Ark.
So guys, I do have to end the call. I'm really sorry. I would love to talk for like hours, and I would love for you guys to be able to express everything. We don't have time today. But I do want to thank you guys so much for coming out and expressing your views. It's interesting because I think the one thing, there's obviously a lot of debate about on this game and some of the heavy topics, but the one thing that everybody can agree upon is that Soma has done things that not a lot of games can do, and it's put a lot of thought-provoking and challenging ideas into, let's say, the world, not to be too grandiose about it, but I think that it's done something that's very unique, and I think it's worth having the discussion, and I'm glad that you guys all came and had some interesting viewpoints to share. So thank you guys very much, and for the Twitch chat, give them a round of applause, virtually or whatever, for contributing. I think you guys did a fantastic job, and
See you next week, basically.
I would love for you guys to stay in touch with me. The best way is Twitter, honestly. But in any way that you can, I really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you in the future.
We could put
Yeah,
our
you just
Twitters
followed
in
me,
the
I'm
Twitch
excited.
chat and follow each other.
Yeah, I don't have a Twitter though, so.
That's okay.
Neither
How
do I,
dare you.
unfortunately.
I only follow ChristopherOdd on it.
I will support you. I
How
don't have
dare
Twitter.
you not to have a Twitter? Twitter is great.
I'm staying with you on
I don't
Skype
like
since
the
you already
Twitter. That's
added
just
me.
There you go. There
I
you
have
go.
Skype.
Skype.
I'm good on Skype.
Skype, true.
I hope
And
they all
I'll check.
Skype.
This is not my regular Skype account, so I'll check into here once in a while and see how you guys are doing. But
Yay!
I want to say thank you guys once again, and I hope everybody
I
had a
will be
good
still
time.
sad, like in my sad profile picture.
I want to
Oh,
hear Josh talk more philosophy.
yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Thank you guys again, and take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Goodbye.